Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toffee Bluecast. Going to get the team in straight away. It is deadline day, and we'll have a few on, three on straight away. We thought we'd start it with a few on. How we doing? Paul? How we doing, Rob?
Yeah, not bad. Deadline day. Oh my God. I know. Sometimes you think it goes well, and then sometimes nothing really happens. But you never know. Keep our fingers crossed for some good news.
Well, I've been watching today, and I just thought to myself, like, save it for us on the channel. Save it for 8 o'clock. Hopefully, it's a last minute, loads of activity and movement. You don't think that stuff's going to go on later on, do you? But sometimes you do get a lot of activity later on. But it's not really been Everton, has it, Rob, that much normally?
No, I mean, I remember when, back in the days when I was a kid and things, and you used to get sent to bed, and you'd wake up the next day, and the first thing you'd do is check what happened, who signed after 12 o'clock and stuff, and you'd wake up being like, we signed him at whatever time. But it doesn't really feel like that happens anymore because, you've always kind of got an inclination what's going to happen, who's going to come in, who's going to go out. And I was very excited this morning when I woke up. I just thought today's the day. There's 5 going out, there's 3 coming in. And Alan Myers kind of took the jam out of all of our donuts at about 1 o'clock today when he said, don't get too excited. So it's been a very long day with nothing really happening, but hopefully that's going to change over the next couple of hours.
I always say I trust Alan Myers, and I do, but I am hoping he's wrong. I'm hoping that, because like you just said, when earlier on when you've seen Aobis going, then all of a sudden you see Mopé's going as well, which we didn't expect. You think, if these players have got to go, obviously Mopé's different because 2 strikers have come in. But you do think that if these are going to go, then players have got to come in, especially on Aobi. Surely we've got to replace him.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing, was that early on it was, we wanted all these players, but we couldn't afford to put 4 or 5 million quid down. Well, if we're getting 22 million quid in the door, what's the problem? And I think it goes back to what we said when we had one of these calls a few weeks ago. Sometimes it feels like Everton were making bids that they didn't necessarily want to get accepted. Like they were going right to the threshold, but they wouldn't pay that extra 1 or 2 or 3 million more. And I just wonder if maybe the same thing's happened here. They're looking like I firmly believe they could have got Nonto if they wanted to get Nonto. But it's very surprising, very surprising.
Do you think that we'll just keep this free flowing because we're going to be on this for 3 hours, but do you think that the price tag of 45 million is real?
Well, if it's real, it wasn't real a week ago, was it?
No, it's just crazy. Did you hear that as well? Is that what you're on with now, that you're thinking that they're saying 45 million for Nonto?
Me, yeah. That's what I've heard so far. But it's all about. I mean, it's all about whether Leeds are just gonna keep saying no, and see how far we go. And then our worry is that actually we get to the point where we've run out of time, and we put so much focus on one transfer that actually there are other people that we could have got, but we don't get them.
Yeah.
Do you know? Obviously, Aobi, it looks like it's going to happen by the way. Let's just update people. Mopé, go for it, Rob. Mopé looks like he's going to. Well, we'll start with Aobi. Aobi, there you go. Sorry, Aobi, go on. Update him on Aobi.
Aobi off the Fulham, 10 months left on his deal. No real indication he was going to sign a new one. Rising up to 22 million. Fantastic bit of business, if you ask me. But I suppose it seemed a fantastic bit of business when he was going out and somebody else was coming in. I'm not necessarily sure if he goes out and we don't replace him, that it's the deal it was meant to be. But I always go back to the fact that I'd rather have the money than have him leave for free in 10 months' time.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of money as well, isn't it? 22 million for someone that's contract's going to be up. You would have thought Fulham would have been tempted on waiting for the contract to be up and persuading him to get him on a free, but they obviously feel that this is their chance to get him by offering cash, and that probably Aobi wouldn't pick them if he was a free agent. That might come into it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Aobi one is funny. I don't know how you lads feel about Aobi, but I actually had a look today. what we've actually paid for Aobi, because when it was announced initially, a lot of that price tag was based on, what would happen if he achieved certain things and hit certain numbers. So we've paid 30.4 million for Aobi. I think to get 22 million quid back on a player we've had for 4 years, who, in my opinion, only really played well for to get 22 million quid back 2 seasons max. I think it's a great bit of business. I really do. I'm really happy with that.
No, I thought about selling him a couple of seasons back when he wasn't playing that well, but I always thought, who's going to buy him and what sort of price tag would you get for Aobi? Now, it's always been said by Evertonians that we paid way too much for him at 35 and then 22. You've done well there. You really have done well.
It's 2 million a year is what we paid for him, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think you can fault that. And plus, in my opinion, I don't think, I mean, he stood out a lot in a really poor Everton team, but I don't think he's ever been a great player. And look, at least we're getting something from him. The amount of players we've bought that we've let leave for free over the years is just absolutely staggering. So, yeah, I have no problem with Aobi moving on whatsoever. No problem.
No, I mean, you can always, I mean, I've seen some people say that he had some good moments that we'll appreciate and remember. He did against Newcastle. And he had a couple of other moments, but it's 38 games. It's not remembering 4 or 5 moments a season. It's 38 games. And I remember Aobi when he first come to us, and someone said this to me and it made sense. I think when Aobi first come, he didn't want to move over to Everton, personally. I think that he liked London, he liked Arsenal. He didn't want to move from Arsenal. Arsenal kind of pushed him on the move, and he probably didn't want the move. But he made the move, and for the first 2-3 seasons, Aobi probably didn't want to be at Everton, did he? And you could tell because he didn't turn up the first couple of seasons, did he? And then he's just started putting a shift in the last 2 because of relegation battles. So maybe he didn't want to be here. I've got Jamie in as well here, look.
I don't know how you lads feel about this, but I don't feel like we actually wanted him. There's the main man. There he is.
Even the boy.
If you remember that transfer window when Aobi signed, we chased Wilfred Zaha all summer. All summer we wanted Wilfred Zaha.
Yeah.
And then Aobi came in on deadline day.
So I don't think he was
ever. Yeah, the haircut. Yeah.
Who's this new one here?
He's not even looking.
I didn't even know he could look younger.
At first I thought, has he had a shave or has he had a haircut?
No.
He's had his ears.
It started off as a 4, and it started off as a 5, and then gradually got shorter. At the end, it was just a massive pair about this style.
Jamie, we're on the conversation now. I was just talking to Rob about this is just a Toffee Blue Cast studio right now. We're talking about Aobi, and Rob was saying that, well, I've said as well that I don't feel like we'll miss a lot. Do you feel though, Rob, and do you feel that we do need to bring someone in to replace him because he played on the right and because he could play centre midfield or the 10? Do you feel that we need to bring someone in to replace him?
Sorry, me.
Anyone?
Not necessarily, to be totally honest with you. Not. I mean, look, you're going to think I'm mad here because I'm one of these people. I do watch football with my eyes, not necessarily the stats that tell us Aobi is our most creative player. Blah 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 blah. I think if everybody's fit, Harrison, McNeil, Decore, whoever, everybody's fit. I'm not sure Aobi gets in the best team. I'm not sure he gets in the starting 11 anyway. So I'm sitting here on 22 million. Bring it on. But I did want someone in, not necessarily a replacement, but I wanted a body in the building. And I think that's where the issue is. If we sell him and we bring nobody in, and plus we don't trust the board, we don't know what the money is going to get used for. Are we ever going to see that money again? That's more of a concern for me. But Aobi, no concern whatsoever, really. I think he's been here 4 years. He played well for 18 months. We got most of the transfer that we paid on him back. I think it's a good deal.
Do you think the Reid thing's put to bed now? Because as soon as we found out Aobi's going, we got the link with Reid from the same team. I thought if you did want him, you probably should have haggled some sort of deal to get Reid in with the deal. Because now it looks like Wolves are on that.
It's probably an afterthought, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think Aobi might have just been done for quite a long time now. It's relative into what's going on, and he maybe didn't want to scupper any deal involving anybody else. But like Rob said, 22 million is nothing to be sneezed at. A player that 2 years ago we were all slagging off as not being good enough.
I mean, that's it,
he
Paul.
did have a few good moments.
Yeah,
he did have a few good moments. Do you know what I mean? That we thank him for. But if you look at it his whole time, we could easily get someone who could do better in the long run. So it's a no-brainer for me. Harrison's already come in.
Yeah.
So for me, that's fine for one of the midfielders to go. And if that's Aobi, then that's not a problem. Gray's okay to go because Danjuma came in. Davis is gone. So maybe you want to have someone else come in. But Ali came back from Besiktas. So it looks as though we've got we've got very much people coming back for people who are going, or people coming in for people going. It'd just be good to have a bit of a thicker squad, wouldn't it? To sort of compensate for any gaps.
The real question is, I mean, you've all alluded to it, 22 million for someone we paid for what we paid for back after 4 years. You know, it's nothing short of brilliant, especially with 12 months to go on his contract. It's literally, if Thelwell's the reason we've got that amount of money, give the lad a statue at Bramley Moore. Because in this day and age, would you pay, on today of all days, where we are now, would you pay 22 million for a right wing that's going to score 6 goals in 150 plus games? I wouldn't pay that. I wouldn't even pay 6 million for an output of that from a winger. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. You've all said it. We had good times. Oh, I don't want to say that. We had a few good moments with Aobi, but there's literally, he's been dining out on that goal against Newcastle since he scored it. Because since then, yeah, fair enough. He done well towards the end of not last season, the season before, when we offered him the new contract. But he's not really done anything since. And I put the tweet out the other day. I'm sure a few of you seen it where it was. Everton are on a counter-attack. It's 4-on-2. Aobi! Goal kick. I cannot wait to never see that again. As much as I respect the lad and he's a professional footballer and he's moving on, which is undoubtedly going to help us in ways that probably we don't even understand at this moment in time. But the amount of times that you've seen that, and I've seen that on a counter-attack where he's got the ball and he's so indecisive and he just doesn't know whether to cross it, whether to pass it, whether to shoot, and the play just breaks down. And that is the one thing for me why I'm just like, 22 million, run away with it.
Jamie, that's a really good idea. Maybe we could all say something that we won't miss about Alex Aobi. Do you know what drives me mad about Aobi? The thing that drives me mad is, when he crosses the ball, he almost chips it into the box. He chips it really slow and really high. Where, imagine Beto if he'd be sitting there looking at your watch, waiting for the ball to drop onto your head. His crosses have always drove me insane.
To answer your question, Rob, I won't miss it because I've never seen him complete a cross. Not something to miss. Unfortunately, for someone that's going to play on a wing, it's vital, isn't it? You've got to have, if you're not going to score the goals, you've got to have some form of output. And unfortunately, Aobi doesn't.
This is the thing about why he's our most creative player. You can put 100 balls into the box, but if none of them beat the first man, it's not a chance.
I honestly,
this is why the stats don't equal with his output.
I honestly feel like if you remember Aobi, he come to life under Carlo when he played the wing back position, but he said he didn't like playing that position because he didn't like tracking back and stuff like that. And then he moaned that he wanted to play the number 10. That's his position. That his position is the number 10. He wanted to attack more, and then they moved him to the number 10. And this is my point. Generally, what is Awobi's position? Because I don't know. I mean. No. You play him on the right, when he puts a shift in, he can do a job. I don't think he's the perfect winger because as a right winger, I like players that can run at players, take them on and put fear into the opposition. I don't think Aobi does that. I think if I was playing against Aobi, I wouldn't be that scared. That's how I like to think about it. Do you know, teams that play against us, I don't think they'll say, oh, no, they've got Aobi. We've really got to watch out for him. And I know a lot of people bring Aobi stats out and stuff like that, but I generally feel that you could go and get stats from Sheffield United from players that look good. You could get stats from Luton that look good. Every team pulls out stats because you've got to play a game, and you can look good in any. I just don't get the stats to make him look better than what he is. Sometimes Aobi for me, and I generally go on.
I was going to say the thing is that he's not a right winger because, like Jamie said. He can't seem to get across it. He doesn't actually take anyone on. What he does is he runs across people. So when he was on the left-hand side, cutting across to the middle or all the way over to the right, all the defenders would run alongside him. He didn't actually get past any defenders. It's a bit like Anthony Gordon when he was with us. He would do the same thing because he'd run quite far with the ball. People would think, oh, he's going to do something now. But actually, it never happened. He either lost the ball or just played it backwards. And so he's gone from either that left wing, that right wing, and not been successful. Then, like you said, he went into number 10 position, wasn't successful. Started playing like a number 8 or 6. Did all right for a bit. Do you know what I mean? But again, didn't. He looked, because he was running further than everyone around him, it made him look really good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that someone else couldn't easily come into that role and do twice as well. It's just that we've had no one else who's ran with the ball very much lately.
But if you play a number 10, like say someone says a good number 10, you think of, I'm not saying these players are amazing, but you think of Fernandes. He scores goals and he's very dangerous with his feet. He can put players in, he can cut teams open. Maddison as well, very dangerous, can score goals. I don't feel like Aobi's that player that's going to smash it in from the edge of the box or that's going to carve teams open and put players in. And then someone says his position is not a number 10, it's a number 8. And then I'm thinking like, sure, I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Like, what is his position? That's generally my question.
If you have to compare
goalkeeper, he's not played. It's only goalkeeper. He's not actually played, I think.
I know.
Been everywhere else.
He do a half decent job. He isn't good at putting the ball in the net, so he probably do well stopping it. But if you had to compare Aobi, right? So you've just used the likes of Fernandes and that, where they're creative players. They can play that 10 role or they can play the 8 role where they float around and they knit things together. Compare another Premier League player that's like Alex Aobi. Name another player that's gone through the transition period that he's gone where he's played, apart from up front, really. He's played all across the front line. He's then moved back into midfield, pretty much played all across the midfield line, and he still hasn't got a position.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there. Like, if he was that good, he would have nailed a position, and you wouldn't have been able to move him out that position. And we've tried him in every single position. And he hasn't nailed any of them, has he? We ended up playing him the right wing because we didn't have a right winger because he tracks back and works hard. And he just got away with that when he works hard. But if sometimes Aobi didn't work hard, which players don't every game, I think it showed. And then he got caught out and then he struggled. So his ability, I'm not that bothered. I'm going to put something bad to you here that's going to probably, you won't like this, but yeah, this is a bit, but what would you say? This is just me twisting things. What would you say if they knew that they was going to sell Aobi and they used that Aobi money to get better?
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever.
I think you've got to think about these things, don't you? Because us Evertonians won't think like this and we'll just want the Aobi money. But like generally,
it depends on the structure though, because if you look at the structure of where we've got Beto's deal, we're not paying anything until the next financial year. The CV money and whatnot will still drop next year if we stay in the Premier League. So that surely shouldn't be a factor. And then surely we've not let him go to Fulham. Sorry, I've got the West Ham Luton game.
Oh, you got someone then? We got a player?
If I'm looking over, I've got the West Ham Luton game. What a shit all their ground is, by the way. What I'm saying is you've got to look at the structure of the deals. Like, there's no way we've let Aobi go without a decent chunk up front. Definitely. They've just had, how much did they sell Mitrovic for? Was it 50, 55 million or whatever? So they're clearly dining out on that, and they're trying to get players in with that. You're not telling me we've gone, do you know what? Give us 5 mil up front, so we'll pay Beto, pay an initial fee for Beto off, and then you pay us over the next 3 years. Who've they got negotiating their deals? Fucking Ken, right? We will have had a substantial amount up front, whether it be 15 and then it'll be, the additional 7 plus add-ons or whatever it's going to work out to be. Because it wouldn't surprise me if those funds have gone on some form of payment for the stadium or something like that. If we don't sign anyone, it wouldn't surprise me if those funds have not been, or the asset hasn't been stripped as such as what Aobi's worth to pay for something else. Again, this alludes back to what I said about that money's probably going to help us in ways that we don't quite understand yet. So I don't think the Aobi money's got anything to do with the Beto deal. Again, it's a case of, Demarai Gray's supposed to still be going. So if anyone's money would have affected a Beto deal, I'd have suspected we'd have dined out on that because there's that many teams interested in him. There was one other thing I wanted to point out about Aobi. That was it. And the only other bonus, as much as I agree with what Rob said, it's not so much replacing Aobi because we're sort of replacing what we don't have anyway. 6 goals in 153 games. I'll be honest, I'm not in the best physical health or state at the moment, but I think I could probably get 6 goals in 156 games for Everton, playing left back. But it's like the only other bonus is if we don't bring somebody else in to fill the void of where he is, yes, that's going to frustrate a lot of the fan base. But also another thing that we're not going to lose out on is the fact that they're now paying 22 million for someone they're going to lose for a month and a half, 2 months in January for the AFCON. So it's not someone we're going to have in our starting 11 who becomes a vital member of the team or keeps us ticking over in a certain play style that we're trying to play in, and then we lose him for a month and a half, and then we've got to integrate him back in. So by selling him now for 22 million, we're also getting away from that problem also. As much as I do agree, I said we still needed at least 4, even with all the outgoings, even with more. But I still think 4 minimum is where we need. I think we need another centre-back. I think we need somebody else for right mid. I'd like another attacking option, whether that be an attacking winger, fast winger, or another striker.
Get ready for these 4, yeah. And we've got another.
I'll be honest, and I think we could do with another fullback or a goalkeeper, because if Virginia's our number 2 for the season, all it takes is for Pickford to get injured and he's out for 2-3 months, and then what? It's a tough one. But yeah, that's the only thing I really want to point out is we don't lose him to the AFCON now. And we've got 22 million bonds from him. So, Kevin, well.
You make a good. I just seen there is Gray staying. Like that isn't saying that Gray is staying, or is that just asking the question: is Gray staying?
The Saudi one's open for another 2-3 weeks, isn't it? So they can still sign people. Yeah. So
I believe
we can't do nothing then, can we?
Well, the latest today is that he's not going. The latest today is that Everton are going to keep him, which I think is quite funny considering they took his shirt number off him in Paris, and so they're going to have to bring him in from the cold now. So he'll be like a new signing because he'll have a new shirt number. So no, but he'll have a new shirt number, so he could be.
It won't be a new signing. You can't polish
it. Another one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 111.
Just add another 1-1-1-1. Be like a tally. Happen again.
Just put
Would it be the worst thing keeping Demarai Gray though?
I don't. I've always said to Paul, I don't mind Gray because he is someone that can take on a player and come on and counter attack. And maybe he might thrive with a centre forward. He might feel like he ain't got to do everything to score a goal. There's actually someone up there. I honestly, you just told me I didn't think about that Saudi window lasting longer, but it makes it harder for us because you don't know whether you're going to sell him or not. So if we go and sell him later on, we can't get no one into it. Might force us into not selling Demarai Gray.
He's a frustrating player, Demarai Gray, because he's got all the talent in the world. Yeah. He is one of the one players that we have that will carry the ball, run at people, and frighten people. He doesn't do it enough, and then you've got to look at the reason why Dice was quite happy to let him go, why he's not been training, why we took his number off him. He's got disciplinary issues, which is the main reason of the fallout with Dice, which is why he didn't feature much towards the end of last season when Calvert-Lewin come back in. There's something, and I don't understand with Demarai Gray because when he broke through at Leicester, He looked a good young English talent. Same thing happened. He got frozen out there starting 11, played in their under 21s, then got sold. Was it Leverkusen he went to? Was it Leverkusen? It was
Germany,
yeah. He went to Germany anyway, and he started really well over there. I think he scored like 4 in the first 7 games for them. And you think, do you know what? He's going to go over there. He's going to rebuild his career, whether he comes back to the Premier or not. But he's going to go over and he's going to establish himself as a full professional now. He's going to get the experience under his belt. He's going to become a great player. And then when we got him for a great bit of business, 1.7 million or whatever along those lines. And then you look at the output the first season, we've got a really good player here. He's got that little bit of magic in his boots. He can change a game on a dime. But again, disciplinary issues. He's not one to track back very often. That's not his game. But if he is to come back in, his mindset needs to change. He needs to be the professional footballer that he is and that what he's paid to be. And that's the biggest frustration for me with Demarai Gray is his off-field antics. It's not so much what he does on the pitch, because fair enough, if he plays and he scores goals, we're not going to say nothing. We're going to be right, fantastic. He's come back in, he's got his head on straight. It's what we want. But he needs to have that mentality. He's a professional footballer. He's getting paid week in, week out. In this city of Liverpool, you're not telling me you can't find 20,000 kids that would take 10% of his wage and put in 110% more work than what he does and behave himself off the field. They would die for that shirt, and I just don't feel like he's got that in him.
No, you make a good point. It's Dyche likes wingers to track back, and I think that's where he got caught out, didn't he? He didn't want to track back, and that's why Aobi got picked for me, is because he was more willing to track back than what Demarai Gray was. It's going to be weird. It's going to be like one of those Nonto situations, isn't it, where Nonto's got to get back in with the Leeds fans after them wanting him gone, and after Demarai Gray clearly wanting to leave Everton, you feel like you've got a player that don't want to be there, and I just feel that when that happens, it's time for them to move on. I mean, none of us said Demarai Gray go, but he clearly wants to go himself, and it's made us feel like we want him gone. It's just a shame that it's a Saudi team and not a Premier League team that's interested in him, because you feel it would push it more, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Gray is I don't feel quite as strongly about Gray as Aobi, because Gray costs us nothing. We did get good performances out of him. We got bad performances out of him. I think he's in the same boat. I think his contract is up in 10 months' time. So losing Gray for free doesn't affect me the same way that losing Aobi for free does. Because I feel like if you get a lad for 1.5 or 1.7 million, you're playing for 3 years and he walks out the door for free. Fair enough. Did he score, did he?
No, they just panned him on the bench, so I'll just give him a nice little song.
I have West Ham in my accumulator, so I was hoping he might have scored. But no, look, the Gray one is, I still think he can do a job, but I think Dyche is hard-headed, and I can see him, if we don't sell him, just not having him in the squad. I can see him training with the 23s all season, because if he doesn't put the effort in, Dyche just won't have any of it. And then he will leave for free. He will leave for free.
Got to get rid of the bad eggs as well, aren't you? That's the thing.
He's not going to sign a new deal, and we're not going to offer him a new deal. So it's either sell him this week, or unless he has a drastic attitude change, I don't think he plays for Everton again, even if we don't sell him.
Isn't it weird, though? He was one of the first that you thought would have gone, and then Aobi now looks like it's going to be done before him to the team that you thought that Gray was going to go to. It just shows there's been so many rumours this window. I tell you something, I'm glad that this window is going to be put to bed and Everton can finally move on. I said that to you, didn't I, Paul? I says I just want this window open, because it's felt like the window has been a season, hasn't it, Rob? It generally has felt like it's been a whole season.
Oh, look, it's just been up and down the whole time. We didn't have a minute to breathe from that Bournemouth game. The Corey scored that goal, we all got straight back into it. They made us wait as long as they made us wait for a striker. There's lads coming in on free transfers. There's lads coming in on loans. We're selling half the team. I saw a weird statistic today that we've brought 5 lads in and 12 have gone. Well, if Maupay goes, Aobi goes, Gray goes, you assume Andre Gomez is going to go, Maupay is going to go, and you assume Gabaman is going to go. That could be 5 lads in and 18 lads out from last year.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know the ones that have gone? Do you want to know the list that have gone?
Yeah, go on.
So,
I'm dying to hear this.
And Nkunku was a transfer out to Saint Etienne. Released was Mina, Townsend, Begovic,
What's that
young
for?
lad Everton, Isaac Price, and Tom Davis was released before. Obviously, he's gone to Sheffield United. Harry Tyra, young lad, loaned out. Ellis Sims was transferred out. He obviously went to Coventry. Samuel Smith, young lad, went to Chelsea. Gave us a little bit of, gave us about 5 million compensation for that. Lewis Warrington's gone out to Plymouth. Stanley Mills went off to Oxford. They're both loans. Another young lad, Laban, has gone out on loan. Reece Welsh has gone out as well. He's gone Forest Green. And Mason Holgate loaned out to Southampton.
Yeah, that's right, Holgate. And of course, we lost Connor Cody as well.
1-0 West Ham.
Connor Cody went, and then today it looks as though Aobi's going. There's a long list there. I mean, that's cutting a massive chunk off the wage bill, obviously, but it's also keeping out 1 or 2 spaces as well. Go on, Jamie. Sorry.
Jared Bowen scored for West Ham. But no, out of that entire list that you've just named, you know, there's one player that I'm actually upset that we haven't kept. Okay, one name him.
Connor Cody.
Do you know what? I'm not even upset. Yerry Mina, out of that entire list, and that's including Aobi and Morpay. Right, I understand with his injuries and such. I completely understand the counter argument that's going to come back to me here. But out of that entire list, the only player that I'm upset that we haven't kept, or the one that I would have wanted to keep if the terms were beneficial to the club, is Yerry Mina. You've got all those young lads out on loan that need to be on loan. They need the experience. I'm glad Everton's not on yet if he does come on, because I don't want Stanley Mills' name mentioned again, because my God, he'd be here.
Can't come on.
But no, literally that is the one name on that entire list out of the 12 or whatever we're letting go that I'm truly asked about we haven't kept.
So Paul, can you tell me how many names are on that list at the moment? And add Connor Cody on top of it too.
Yeah, so hang on a sec.
He's the stat man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Cody 16, Aobi 17.
Okay, so we're going to say Aobi 17, Cannon 18, Mopay 19. Andre Gomez is going to leave is 20. Gabavin will leave as 21. And Damari Gray potentially is 22. So that's 2 starting 11s gone and 5 lads at the door. Out of that 5, that's a 1-year deal for Ashley Young. It's a loan for Harrison. And obviously we've got Shamidi and Beto. We've got a loan for Danjuma. So that's 22 gone. 3 who've come in who may not be here next year. So it's 2 permanent signings.
Yeah.
And 22 out. I mean, that to me now is not
a lot.
You know, like what does the squad look like next year?
Yeah, you've got to look at it.
There's good ways of looking at it, bad, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? You can only have 25 in your Premier League squad. So
do we have 25?
You've got to look at that. You've got to look at that list, though. How many of those players are accumulated over the amount of managers we've had over the last number of years? You can see what Dyson Thelwell are trying to do. They're trying to cleanse the squad. Dicey's trying to build the squad or mould the squad into what he wants. The likes of Andre Gomez, Gbamin. Gomez was gone last year. Fair enough, we were in a relegation battle. We were where we were. Do you really think Andre Gomez would have affected it that much? I don't think so myself. Gbamin got to go down as probably one of the worst transfers Everton Football Club have ever produced.
Pound for pound. Yeah,
25 million for 6 appearances. I'm sorry, I'd much rather see Mopay up top for the rest of the season than have Gbamin play for Everton Football Club again. So goodbye, good riddance. You were never good enough. See you later. I'm in a vicious mood when it comes to Everton today because we haven't fucking signed anyone.
I know. Jamie messaged me. He's like, "I want Nonto." If we don't get Nonto, I will not be happy.
Mate, I put it out on my Twitter. If we'd have got Nonto today and we'd have got 4 signings in, including him, so 3 others, I would have named my next one Kevin. I'm not lying to you. I seriously would have done it. I'd have called my next one Kevin.
And you would have made him on deadline day as well.
Honestly, when it comes to the Nonto, I stayed quite quiet over the summer because I really like Nonto, and he was a little fucker, should we say, when he played against us. And he's quality and his potential, the ceiling for that lad is extremely high. He's only 19, don't forget. He's still only 19 and he's quality. He's one of the best attacking wingers that played in the Premier League in one of the worst teams you'll ever see. So I wanted Nonto when we were first linked with him. You've got to admire Leeds and the stance that they've taken on the whole matter. They said he wasn't for sale. As much as we've had communications and we bid this, that and the other, either we've not gone in for the right amount of money that they want, or they've just firmed up and gone, look, this is the amount. Either you pay it and you pay it this way, or it's a no-go. How many times do you see a player put a formal transfer request through and then stay at the club and then play in the next day? It doesn't happen nowadays. Players have too much power. And if that was the case and that was us, you've only got to look far back as Jolie and Lescott. As soon as he wanted to go, he was gone. It was as simple as that. Yeah. It's one of those. I wanted Nonto, and I feel that Nonto would be brilliant in our system, whether it be playing just behind the forward or whether it be playing wide on the right. Fair enough, looks like it's probably not going to happen, but yeah, he is someone I wanted. Not going to lie. Sulemana looks like he's staying where he is as well. Again, someone that a lot of potential. I would like him, but I wouldn't like him for 30 million.
Tell you one thing, Jamie. Sorry, if Superman hadn't scored 2 goals on the last day of the season against Liverpool, nobody would want him.
It's Ismail Assar all over again, isn't it?
He did nothing all season. He did nothing until the last game when they were already relegated. They were already relegated, and he said, "You know
that's what I mean." Nobody wanted Ismail Assar from Watford until the Liverpool game, where I think he scored 2 at Anfield, and they beat Liverpool at Anfield when they were on that mad run where they'd not lost for ages. And you know what I mean? It's one of those names where he plays one amazing game against the top 4 side, and everyone's like, "Hey, this kid's got a little bit about him." It doesn't.
I always remember we signed Josh King, and Josh King just couldn't get a look in, and then he scored a hat-trick against us the next season. And everybody on Twitter was like, we should have kept Josh King. We should have kept Josh King. It was like, you know what I mean? Just because you score a couple of goals doesn't mean you go lashing 30 million quid at people. And they were already relegated. It was a mad game anyway. I think Liverpool were 3-0 down or something like that. He's not the lad to throw 30 million at. Not yet. No. Not yet.
No. The thing is as well, when you're getting rid of any players, it's whatever suits you at the time. There's no point keeping loads of players that they might be good in 5 years and things like that. If they're good enough now, then you can integrate them into the squad and into the 11. Do you know what I mean? If you're confident that they're actually going to do something for you. Like Tom Cannon might be a great striker. Do you know what I mean? I've no doubt that he'll have a great career. Whether it's going to be in the Premiership, I don't know. But I think he's going to be a really good striker for a good few years. But because we think that he might do all right, people are a bit reluctant to actually let him go.
But this is why you put buyback clauses.
Sometimes you've got to be a bit more confident in what we've got, haven't we?
You know,
but 7.5 million.
Yeah.
You can't turn your nose up at someone that's unproven. Leicester are aiming to come straight back up. They want to bounce straight back up, as they should want to with the team that they still possess. They and Southampton, 100% their goal this year should be to bounce straight back into the Premier League. Their squads are good enough to do it. You look at Southampton. Southampton are playing some really nice football and are doing quite well. Leicester should be in the same boat as that. To spend 7.5 million on Tom Cannon, who's unproven in the Premier League, yeah, I'm quite happy to take that at this moment in time. Yeah, fair enough. I might be eating my words in 12 months' time. They could be back in the Premier League and they could be buying goals in left, right, and centre. They're paying for that potential. They're not paying for the finished article. And 7.5 million, you can't turn your nose up at that for an academy graduate as well. Again, it's more beneficial for us because it goes in the green line for the FFP. It's pure profit. We've not paid anything for him. We're not losing out on him as such. We're not losing any money on him. 7.5 million. Thank you, Leicester. that'll do.
If there's anybody at the club, whether that be Leighton Baines or whether it's getting on the phone to David Unsworth and saying, "What do you think?" If somebody's adamant this lad is going to be a big deal, but we need the money now, you put a buyback clause in the contract.
No, I
That's
agree.
just what you do. But you let him go because it's more beneficial to him in Leicester's first team than it is getting 25 seconds off the bench for us when we're 2-0 down at home.
Yeah, with the Nkunku deal, he's been sold by Saint Etienne now, hasn't he, to Frankfurt? Was it 11 million euros? We've got we've got a 30%. We've got 30% sell-on clause from that. So there's another 2.5 million out of nowhere. So again, someone we didn't deem worthy enough, we put in a stupid buyout clause at 2.5 million, which I thought was silly. But you know, Saint Etienne took it up on us. They've now sold him. They've made a bit of punch on it. We've got a bit more money in our back pocket for it. Fair enough. And with that entire list, Paul, that you give out, right, take Chimity out of the equation because, again, he's nowhere near the finished article. I think we've seen that against Doncaster. He plays a different style to what we're used to, and he's going to take time. And I think we all need to that. But look at the signings. You've got Jack Harrison, Ashley Young. Out of that list, tell me that they're not upgrades on what we've either sold or released.
Yeah.
Jack Harrison is. Beto is. I can't even think of the fifth. We got Young, Chimity.
Ashley Young. Who's the fifth one we got?
Oh, Danjuma, 100%.
You can't tell me that they're all not. But I'm quite happy with that. If we're getting that many off the wage bill, you've got to look at it as well, the financial terms. Paul's already alluded to it. The amount of money we're saving in wages on 17 players compared to the 5 that we've got in, there has to be some financial output there or outlay, which is going to put us more in the green than it is the red. And again, apart from Yerry Mina in that list, all right, fair enough, Aobi and Mope, they're the only 3 that really, obviously, I'm not including Connor Cody because he was alone, he wasn't our player. But you've got to look at the list there. Out of all those on that list, who was really going to benefit us and be in the starting 11 week in, week out, or every other week? Those are the only real 3 names on there that would go to. Everyone else wasn't.
Yeah, and I think the club is just, maybe it's just how I feel at the moment, but I have no emotional attachment to any of these lads leaving. All I care about is are we getting a good deal, and in some cases a good deal is just getting him out the door. Like Gabaman, if he goes out for free, does anybody really care? Other lads getting a fee, like Aobi getting a fee is great business, but a lot of them, you just want them gone because, you know, some of these players were signed by managers who haven't been here for 4 years. They were signed by a director of football who hasn't been here for 2 years. Like, we need to get rid of these lads, and we need to, even if we're only getting small loan fees, a small loan fee plus 52 weeks a year in wages, all that helps. It all helps. But anyway, getting back onto the incomings, yes, I would have liked 1 or 2 more, but I'm not upset about anybody who's left the club this year, including Yerry Mina, including me. I'm not upset to see the back of Mina. I like Mina when he plays. The problem is he doesn't play.
The thing is, we needed to rebuild because it's been continuous for the last 2-3 seasons. We've had the same players and nothing changes. The mentality is getting worse. And it just seems that, as I say with Michael Keane, the eggy fart just spreads and Everton are just awful. And it just, you go down, you sink further and further and further until you change something. And it generally now, we have started to change something. I mean, does it not make you really happy? I mean, we've seen Dolph leave, we've seen Tujan leave. Now, I think we might see Andre Gomez leave. A lot of the dead wood has gone now. It feels like we're going to have a rebuild finally, because if you think about what we could have, I mean, I'll tell you this now, this is what we could have. We ended up with Mope and Calvert-Lewin. We all said we needed a striker. We've got Chimity and we've got Beto up top. So we wanted a striker. We've got 2.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. Well, 2.5 Calvert-Lewin, I suppose, isn't it? Beto, Chimity. Yeah. Well, yeah. It could be.
He'd be going into the under-23s.
But the good thing is, Danjuma can play the striker role like Richarlison used to. So you've kind of, with getting Danjuma in Richarlison's role, you've kind of added that sort of player in that with Danjuma. I do feel he could actually play striker. Now, as wingers, we've got Danjuma, new face. We've got Harrison, new face. And we've also got, I know people will moan at this, but Young can play wing if needs be. I feel he's got the quality to play on the wing to get the crosses into Beto. So wingers, we'd say, changed. Centre of midfield, we used to have, I think it was Decore, Allen, and Gomez, wasn't it? Our centre of midfield now is Onana, Garner, and we brought Garner Gay back. Now, we didn't want Davis to go, so we kind of do need one more in there, don't we? That's why we're probably looking at Reed. We need probably another centre midfielder, but that's a whole new strike force, a whole new wingers, a whole new centre midfield. Defence is a different ball game. Like, I think we're planning on sorting our midfield and attack out this season because we already made the sacrifice of sorting our defence out. Now, Mikalenko and Patterson probably wasn't the right choices in sorting that defence out. And Godfrey and Keane don't seem so easy to move on. So the defence is what scares me, but we have got Branthwaite back. So I'd probably say that I do want a centre-back here. I'm not that, but striker, I'm happy. Midfield, wingers, I'm happy. I'd like another right winger, but the only thing that scares me is probably the centre-backs because Keane and Godfrey, for me, are pretty scary. I don't think they can cut it.
I mean, I don't think anybody is going to sit here and tell you you're mad for being worried. There's an argument to be made that Tarkowski is the only...
We're going to sign him. We're going to sign him.
No, I've just seen. Sorry, Kasper Schmeichel's had his contract terminated by Nice.
Yeah.
That's the one I take on a free.
Mutual agreement. Yeah.
Sorry, come on, Rob.
No. I was just saying that I can totally understand Dan's point in relation to being worried because, Tarkowski, good sign. Nobody's going to have a bad word to say. I think he played every minute of every game last year and he cost nothing. Yeah, great signing. Branthwaite, absolutely. I mean, we would all want those two lads to start every single week. Problem is, someone will get injured, somebody will get suspended, somebody will get taken out of the team for whatever reason. And the problem is, when you've only got two other centre-halves, and one of them is Michael Keane, who, in my opinion, will be number 3, because even if he's the 4th worst player, Dice loves him, so he's number 3. So the minute somebody drops out, he goes in. And when you open your phone and look at Twitter, or you're at the game and you hear the team on the PA, when you hear Michael Keane, your heart just drops. Because...
And he was awful last game. He really was, and that was Doncaster.
Years.
Yeah, he is every game, but I'm just saying for when you Branthwaite's trying to get your position, and he's played well last game, and Keane obviously to get your position back. I thought he'd have a good game, Doncaster. Not saying he's good, but I thought he might push himself back into the team, which I didn't want. And generally, he was awful against Doncaster. That's something that's got to be broken into the Keane and Dyche sort of thing, because I don't mind Sean Dyche. I feel like he gets a better work rate and mentality from the players, but if he has a attachment to Michael Keane, it could be worrying for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's relationships like that lose you your job when you're stubborn and too stubborn to make the change. There, we've seen it over the years. Managers who consistently stick with one thing and it doesn't work. They're the types of things that get you the sack. And Michael Keane will be here to terrorise another manager because that's what he's done to 4 of them now at this stage. And whoever gave that man a new 5-year contract about 2 years ago, I hope you sleep well at night because Jesus Christ, I don't. He's just been absolutely awful.
Godfrey didn't look good either when he got the chance. There's no the only he isn't good. If he wasn't a good looking chap, I think people would have been on to him a lot more. He's just not a centre back. He's an athlete. He's not a footballer for me.
He's a funny one, isn't he? He's a really funny one because he got COVID, and it just really seemed to mess him up. Because when he signed, he made his debut as a left back in the Merseyside derby, and I was like, this fella is a player. But
wasn't COVID the fucked up? It was when he done his leg against Chelsea on the opening game of the season. That was what fucking off. And he's just not been the same again.
But he still never cemented the centre back position, though, did he, Jamie? He still never thought, right, you play him centre back, and you can't not play him centre back because he just never gelled in, did he?
I don't personally agree with that. And the reason I don't is because he filled in at right back when Coleman done his leg in the cup. And that was why he was uprooted from the centre back position. To say that he's not held down the centre back position is correct. However, tell me a 5-10 game stretch where he's played solely at centre back in a partnership with somebody. I personally, he looked fucking terrible against Doncaster. He got caught out so many times, and it was so frustrating to watch because I'm actually a big fan of Ben Godfrey, and I feel that Ben Godfrey could be a very, very good centre back. But he needs a lot of work. And he needs a run of games, which he's not going to get, and he shouldn't get, because by all right and all fairness, we've seen, fair enough, it was Doncaster, it was Cup, but we've seen Keane, Godfrey, Tarkowski, and Bradford. We've seen them all play this season. Now, I don't think out of the four of us here, and I don't know how many we've got in the comments, but feel free to comment and let me know. The question from me is, out of us four here, who's starting two is not Tarkowski and Branthwaite, because they're my starting two. I have put money on that they're Rob's starting two, the Paul's starting two, and they're your starting two, Dan. And anyone in the comments that wants to disagree with me, go for it. But those two should be the starting centre backs that we have, and that partnership should not be broken, as Rob's just alluded to, until somebody's injured, suspended, or has to be taken out for some reason. They should be our starting two centre backs. End of conversation. Simple as that.
Still not. Even though Branthwaite started last game and he did nothing wrong and he was perfect, I'm still not confident that Sean Dyche won't slip Michael Keane in. I'm still worried.
When he didn't play against Doncaster, that was my message that he's going to play tomorrow against Sheffield United.
What, Michael Keane? Branthwaite, yeah. Hopefully.
I agree with you there, because I don't know if you've seen the interview with Dyche afterwards, there was still people doing fitness drills behind him. I know Tarkowski was there, Mope was there, Branthwaite was one of them. So it wasn't that they were unused substitutes, but they still got a bit of fitness in after the game, which for me spells that Branthwaite is definitely, I say definitely, fingers crossed, is due to start tomorrow. And it's got to be. He can't put in a performance that he did. And then we go to Sheffield United, where, let's be fair, we need 3 points tomorrow. If we sign nobody tonight and we don't strengthen ourselves and we weaken ourselves by losing further players, 3 points is a must tomorrow to at least get some fans on the side and go, be like, do you know what? Maybe they're onto something here. We've strengthened the team. You know, it was so good to hear the fact that Dwight McNeil's in the thinking for the weekend. How much we have missed that man these opening 3 games this season. I'm telling you now, we had Dwight McNeil in these opening 3 games. I don't think it took for us to play Doncaster to score. I really don't.
No, I completely agree with you. I think it's been a massive miss. And he's just the extra quality, and he's just generally someone that you do fancy scoring. Now, I didn't think that McNeil would be back this early. I had him down as further away. But it did excite me when he said he's available. Did you expect him back this quick, or was it just me that was shocked that he's going to be free for this game?
I thought he would be back after the international. I thought any injuries that we had, like Ali and McNeil, I thought we wouldn't even be in contention till after the international break. But once again, we don't know. We haven't really seen much on McNeil. We don't know how his rehab's gone. We don't know what he's been going through. Just the fact that Dyche said that he was back training with the lads was a huge boost for me. And even if he's on the bench and we get a nice little 20-minute cameo out and he either notches the winner or gets an assist for the winner, I'll take that. And then he's got a week off the international break? Get him rested off, get him ready for the next game. Job's a good one. Because we've missed that man. 100% we've missed that man.
Yeah, I think I can't wait. I mean, I can't wait to see Beto again, but I think everyone's going to be excited to play with Beto as well, because you imagine McNeil whipping balls into Beto in the box now. I think as a midfield player and as a winger, when you're knocking the ball up and you don't feel someone's going to knock it in the back of the net, it knocks your game because you're thinking twice about knocking it up. Now we've actually got a big centre forward that can break a goalpost. You're going to whip nice balls in as soon as you can. And generally, Beto, I feel, is just going to make everybody play better. We've been crying out for a proper centre forward. and we have got one. So I'm excited to see the combos now. What it is a question for you. We'll hit the topic of him. Dele Alli, we might as well touch on it. Like, I get Paul chuck that on the screen. Oh, you can touch his bum if you want. Dele Alli. Here we go.
I'll set up for Paul.
Toffee Brewcast is getting full.
Good evening, chaps.
Here he is.
I was told 9 o'clock.
Whenever you want, matey. Whenever you want.
Mate. Don't worry about it.
You can slip it in whenever you want, mate. You know what I mean? Get in. How are we doing, Lukey?
Only right with the appropriate time for today.
Looks good. That's the better top, isn't it? That's the top that better I done.
Right, Dan. I've actually gone on to Everton's site, and I've got a list of the actual players that we've got. So you can actually see one or two areas where we're maybe lacking, or people you'd think we would hopefully get rid of, or whatever. So these are the goalkeepers that we've got, which seems fairly comfortable, really. You know, we've got 4 keepers, and Pickford's going to be picked as much as possible, isn't he? It seems. I mean, I was surprised that he played against Doncaster, but you know, it was maybe a good job he did in the end. Was everyone happy with those keepers then?
Yeah, what I like about the last 2 lads, Lonergan and Craylan, is it? I believe Lonergan also pulls double duty. He works in the staff canteen, and I think Craylan helps the kit man as well. So we're getting value out of them there.
I thought you'd be serious then.
No, we're getting a bit of value. We're paying.
Honestly, when the questions come up and they ask the players what's the favourite Christmas film, I love Lonergan's answers. So I definitely think he's a very, very good player just on that. I mean, Home Alone is just a winner. So Lonergan for me.
Did anybody say Die Hard? Because that would have got my.
Yeah, Die Hard's a good one.
Yeah, that's the one.
To be fair, you need tall lads to put the nets up, don't you? Do you know what I mean? You won't have to go on each other's shoulders.
Yeah.
So
you have to think about these things. Yeah.
Exactly. These are the defenders then, as we have now.
Look at Paul. He's so good on this channel, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's so good.
I mean, gee, that doesn't look great, does it?
You can play both sides. Tarks and Branthwaite, Keane and Godfrey, we just spoke about it. Coleman, Patterson, right-hand side, and then 2 kids in Ashley and John.
I mean,
have we got enough there?
There's
have we got
3
enough there, or do we need one more?
At least.
We need, yeah, but why? This is what does my head in. I'm not going to swear, by the way, but this is what does my head in. Why are they freaking getting a defender? Why are they acting like it's okay in defence? I honestly feel like any other manager than Sean Dyche would be sorting this defence out. I think he thinks that we're okay because we've got Michael Keane, and he's so invested in Michael Keane that he's blind to see that these defenders are quite worrying. I mean, this Premier League's no Mickey Mouse league now. It's high standard, and your defence, they're going to get tested. They're not going to get away with it. They're going to, every player in the Premier League, every team is good now. So you can't have it that weak. You can't. Now, Mykolenko hasn't proven himself. Brett Patterson, I love him and said he's world class, but I can see why he wasn't straight in the team now when he first come, because he needs to improve as well. So you look at that. The only 2 players that I would say yes is Tarkowski and Branthwaite. Mykolenko scares me. Young scares me with the way he's been the last 2 games in the Premier League. Keane, he skid marks, he is. Coleman, I would love to see him back, but Ashley and John, they mean nothing to me. Yeah, it's scary, isn't it, if you say 2 players excite you out of that whole defensive list?
I mean, that's a championship list of defenders. It's just a championship school. I mean, it's poor. It's really poor.
Get me in the back, Jamie. Get me in the back.
Thing is with Patterson, though, there's only one way he's going to get better, and that's for playing games. It's the only way he's going to improve. Mate, tell me, right? Okay, fair enough, fair comment. You're telling me Tarkowski's not made a mistake? You're telling me Branthwaite before he went on loan didn't make a mistake and get sent off, mate? We all make mistakes. The only way he's going to get better, and I said the same thing about Godfrey not getting a run in the team in his natural position. The only way he's going to establish himself as a good right back is to play games. You're talking about someone that played less than 15 senior appearances for Rangers, and we bought him, and you're expecting him to walk straight into a Premier League side at his age. It's not going to happen, mate. He's got to play games to get better. And I can deal with mistakes here and there, because the only way you ever learn is by making mistakes. I think Patterson, yeah, fair enough, he looks a bit shaky in certain games that we've had this season, but he can only get better. He can't get any worse. And the only way he's going to get better is to play games. And at this moment in time, we don't really have much option. And I would keep playing him, and I'd much rather keep playing him and try and get him to improve. Because what's he going to do? Sit off and play in the under-23s every week? How's he ever going to be good enough for the starting lineup?
We're hard fans, ain't we? Because we moan we want to see Patterson, and we're singing, if you're looking for a right back, we've got a Glaswegian when he has a couple of good games. And then we're saying we've got a good right back, play him, he's good enough. And then they play him and he makes a few mistakes, and then we're straight away. If we are going to be a team that can't buy big money players, like you say, Wilfred Nonto, 45, we just can't do it. If we are going to be a team that buys young players with potential, then we have to let them grow, don't we? And maybe I'm jumping on them too much, I don't know.
Yeah,
to
be honest.
Coleman got slated in his first couple of seasons, didn't he? First 2-3 seasons.
Not by me.
Really good going forward, but not a great defender. So,
but he went on like the Blackpool, didn't he?
Blackpool.
He went on to Blackpool, and he got his game time in. And then look at that. That's the only way. And fair enough, I understand why people are jumping on those that are making mistakes. Let it be known, in the Premier League with 3 games, no points, 3 losses, not scored the goal yet. So you can understand why everyone's getting a bit jittery and why everybody's jumping on everybody who's making mistakes. Totally understand it, but you've got to look at it long term. It is only 3 games. You're not telling me if we don't go on a nice little run from now to the mid-season before December that we're not looking like a good outfit. We've now got a striker that we've needed since Lukaku left that could potentially put the ball in the back of the net. Hopefully see double digits from him this season. Yeah, I know it was only Doncaster, but the last striker that I see a ball like that, to chase a ball like that down, to outmuscle a defender and put it in the back of the net, as much as it pains me to say, was Romelu Lukaku. That's the last time I've seen an Everton striker have the ability to do that. And that excites me. That run, I messaged Dan as soon as the goal went in. Like, when that ball was played from Decore, who here honestly thought that was going to end up in the back of the net? Because we're so used to seeing
Jamie, leave me alone. I'm having a tug here.
honestly, though, we're so used to seeing Morpay chase that down, and the defender's got 10 yards before Morpay even reaches up to him. As much as I like Calvert-Lewin, who here honestly thinks that the same ball, the same game, Calvert-Lewin would have won that and then finished the ball off, because I don't.
No, he is a different. I mean, we've got Beto's shirt on the stream now. Is it signed, Luke? You need to get that signed.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. I will go down to Finch Farm and get him to sign this.
You need to get that signed, mate.
Actually, Luke, while you're here,
sign it. If I get it signed, it'll go up here. It will go up here. I'll make a 4th hanger for it.
He is Jesus. He is the king. Did you hear that Beto song by the guy that sings
the
guitar? Good
quality
song that was. It's a new Beto, so it's better than mine.
To be honest, I prefer the other one. The Beto song done through Mambo number 5. A little bit of Beto in my life. A little bit of Beto from the right.
I like that one. I've not heard that one yet. I just change every song to Beto at the minute because I'm so excited about it. He does look a beast, doesn't he? And I generally think we've been more angry. A little bit of Beto in my life. I've got the actual proper speaker here now as well. A little bit of Beto.
The HyperX podcast one, is it?
No, it's the HyperX 6662.
That's nice.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, good.
Sounds. Say it again. Yeah. I think Rob was just going to say something about it then winning.
I was going to ask Luke.
Flashing.
I was going to ask Luke actually, because I was looking at your channel. You were at the Doncaster game.
Mm-hmm.
So with all this talk of Patterson, I can't help but notice that James Garner wasn't on that list of defenders. In my opinion, when Garner came on, he gave Patterson something to think about. As in, you might not lose your spot to Seamus Coleman, you might lose your spot to me. What did you think when Garner came on and played right full? I thought, because to be honest, I thought Garner was really, really, really poor in centre mid, but I thought he was brilliant.
To be honest,
at right back.
Yeah, I think he was actually better as a right back. In all honesty, it could be one of those, because we've had that happen in the past. We've had players who've been in certain positions, we put them somewhere else, and it seems to just fit their play style perfectly. So, in all honesty, though, if I was to play advocate for Patterson, I think if we're going to be able to play him, what would be best for him is giving him the role as a right wing back and having a left wing back, giving him the wing back role and having him having a bit more of an option of going forwards rather than coming back as much. Might give him a little bit more freedom. To be honest, though, we need someone who's a set piece expert because the lads we've got a set piece expert. The set piece guys at the moment are absolutely dreadful.
I think that's why we need McNeil back, isn't it? McNeil can put it on better.
Apparently, he's meant to be fit for tomorrow.
Yeah.
According to my source, it's basically some guy outside the Goodison. The usual drunk guy outside the Goodison. Had too much in the Winslow, got kicked out, and then as I'm walking past, he's like, "Hey, lads, McNeil's going to be good."
Ian Snowden, that.
I hope so. No, but the Garner thing is interesting because I thought he was really poor in centre mid. And then when he came into right full, he made me think, actually, Patterson could lose a spot to him. Like, I know he plays right full for the under 21s and they won the Euros, but Patterson's a funny one because usually when you can't defend, you're really good going forward. And when you're not really good going forward, you're kind of solid at the back, aka Tony Hibbert. I don't think Patterson's particularly great at either. I think he's good at running up the pitch, but I think once he gets into the final third, I don't know how many crosses I've seen him over here or slice or just kick out of play. He just has no composure at the front or at the back. He's actually at his best in the middle of the park on the right hand side. Whereas Garner's just comfortable on the ball. Maybe that's what we need right now.
Well, he was the one that whipped the crossing for Beto's header at the post. I don't know. Obviously, Lee Carsley has played James Garner right back for a reason. He hasn't. He thinks he's good in that position. As England, they've got loads of players and they've got loads of options. So he played Garner right back because he thinks he's a good right back. I don't know. I'd be tempted to play him there, but sometimes you just don't. Do you?
Tomorrow. I think he'll play right back tomorrow.
Would you? Here we go. Paul, Garner right back, yes or no?
Who right back? Oh, Garner.
James Garner.
James, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Rob?
I think he'll play tomorrow. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you said yeah. Luke, would you Garner right back or yes or no?
Yeah, definitely, because I think it's a double-barreled thing because it's not just a confidence boost for Garner because he's trying something different. It's also a warning to Patterson.
Yeah.
Because right now I think Patterson could even be getting a little bit complacent thinking, Coleman's injured, you haven't got anyone to replace me, I'm safe regardless.
It's a good option that he can play there. Jamie?
No.
I did sticking your guns.
No, it's not sticking the guns, but I'm trying to not get angry. I'm trying to use my head rather than my heart about it. And if you put James Garner right back,
get wrong way.
No, but if you're going to play James Garner right back, who's playing right mid? Surely McNeil. I'm here.
Is you wrong way, Lou? You got to go the other way. There you go.
It's not like
if you play James Garner right back, who's playing right mid? Because Dwight McNeil surely isn't fit enough to start. And we're about to sell Aobi. So who are you going to start at the right?
Well, I think the team that finished the second half against Doncaster, aka Ghana coming on, Young coming on, minus the two centre halves, I think that'll be the team that starts tomorrow. I think Brantwaite
do you know one thing that really worries me, and this is the thing about jumping on a player in one game? I thought Dobbin was, for what he was pre-season, I thought he was awful.
He was, man. He got dragged off at half time, and rightly so.
To be honest, he was a little bit out of his depth, I think, at the moment. I think
but he shouldn't be though, should he?
It's just in a more sparing way, if you get me.
Yeah, but Luke, if there's ever a game for him to do it, surely it's against Doncaster in the Cup. Like, it's not like it was against Fulham where you might say, all right, look, that's a game he should be shining. He should be pulling their right back inside out all over the pitch, and he was pulling.
I hate to tell you, they put a better shift than Fulham did against us. I feel. I thought they didn't look like what their league position or league league that they're in. They didn't look that sort of team. I feel it was a much more attacking game than what we had against Fulham. I really do, and that's total respect to Doncaster. I thought they gave a really good account of themselves. Apologies, Luke. You go ahead.
No, that's all right. To be honest, though, when it came to the Doncaster game, with the Doncaster game, it's very hard when it comes to cup games because you find that the lower league teams, you want something to prove. They're going in there with intent to draw blood. They want to make the Premier League team suffer. So,
how big that ball is.
Okay.
Carry on. This is how much you're supposed to drink a day. So it's hold on. Let me just carry this on. But 7 a.m. rise and shine. 9 a.m. let's get started. 11 a.m. remember your goal. 1 p.m. keep it up. 3 p.m. halfway there. 5 p.m. you can do this. 7 p.m. don't quit now. Don't quit now. 9 p.m.
do anything to you in your sleep while you stayed at his house?
All in a day's work. Paul got me drunk.
I've got my one here.
I was asleep for a very long time. Very unlikely.
What you got? Pepsi Max?
Mm-hmm. And popcorn.
And popcorn. I've got cushion and cake here. This is about as interesting as it gets. We're supposed to be announcing 4 players that Jamie wants here.
Fucking hell. I've never known Jameson to ever make anyone wake up with a sore arm before. Fucking hell.
Oh, hang on. Apparently we've signed a new groundsman for Finch Farm.
Andy Lonigan.
Dan, before you carry on,
his name is the Scottish fella Ferguson something.
Yeah,
Ducan. I'm going to go off this. I'll be back around 10ish, 10:15ish, because I've got to get home and stuff. And
then you'll be back on. Yeah.
Have a look on the banners. The midfielders and attackers are on there as well.
Oh, sure. Come on then. See you later, Bob.
Right,
take care, man.
I'm heartbroken. He's gone now. Sexy bastard.
To be honest, back you couldn't say it to his face. Paul is gone. Luke is in the building. Go on, carry it on. I was expecting us to announce a player, surely. Come on. I was expecting us to announce a player here. This is...
You never know. We've got a good history on deadline day of pulling something out the fire that nobody knows. You never know. I'm not extremely hopeful at this moment in time, but there's always that possibility.
Are you still on 4, Jamie? Are you still on 4 now? Have you gone down to 3?
Mate, 1 will do me at this moment in time. At the start, no, but honestly, at the start of the day and on the positions of names, 4 would have put us in such a strong position. We ain't going to get 4, are we? I'll quite happily take 1. You're forgetting we've still got a loan deal there that's not being taken up by anyone. Why, if we weren't going to sign anybody permanently, why have we not worked our arse off to get somebody through the door on loan?
This is it. This is the thing that does not like. Why haven't we even tried Calvin Phillips?
Oh, yeah.
He's sitting at home, crusted and cake like Dan on the couch. Why haven't we just said, "Look, lad"?
I would go get him. I wouldn't have me custard and cake. I'd gladly get in the car and go pick him up if they offered.
Look, we'll pay 50% of the wages. Come play for us for a year. Get yourself. I know you're in the England team anyway, but you're not getting near that City team. Come and play for us for 10 months. We're not even trying. It seems like.
Apparently, Lewis Sinestra's currently having a medical at Bournemouth.
Yeah, but I don't think we could have got him on loan anyway because we've already got Harrison. I don't think
we couldn't.
So we would have had to buy him.
Yeah, and imagine how much Leeds would have fucking quoted for him. And let's be fair, with the Harrison deal, we didn't have to speak to Leeds. That was in his contract. Yeah. So as long as we activated the clause, took him on loan with the option to buy him during the loan, that had very little to do with Leeds. I just don't think Leeds were ever going to deal with us at all this summer. Even whether it be Sinestra or Nonto, I don't think we would have ever purchased either of them, not with the way that they are. But again, Calvin Phillips is a great shout. Like he's not going to play very much in the Man City side. He's had terrible luck with injuries since he's gone there. To be fair, yeah, he's in and around the England squad. He's not in the starting 11 of the England squad because he's not in playing. So it's a no-brainer for me. It's someone that could do a job for us. It strengthens us, inevitably in the middle of the park, which I do think, fucking is right. So he is the ideal signing for us, especially on loan. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why we haven't broke our backs to get another loan in. I don't get it myself.
This is it, and if anything, the loans are the easier deals to do for us because we don't have to pay anything.
Nominal fee. Yeah. Even if we do, it's a nominal fee to get it through the door.
This summer alone proves it. Who did we get on loan? We got Danjuma in, we got Harrison, and 2 reasonably quick deals. The issues came when it was the dropping a few quid to buy a player. So, the loans don't seem to be a problem. But look, there's a number of lads out there on loan. But we're not even looking. Go loan a centre back.
Luke, if I we've got 150 players.
If I give you my bank details now, Luke, can you put a bid in for a player?
How much are you offering?
I'd pay 20 quid for
20 quid. Best I can get you is Neil Maupay.
I literally took the words out of my mouth.
No.
It's like you say, though, it is crazy that you wouldn't take up the loan option. It's not just the Premier League. You've got the French League, the Italian League, loads of other leagues. Surely you could get someone in because we've just said we ain't got a big squad, have we? That's the thing, and it's a no-brainer to bring someone in and give them a chance. Just give them a chance.
Forget the other leagues. Look at Man City's team. Look at how many players they have registered. Look at Chelsea's team and how many players they've got registered. You're not telling me that we couldn't have gone to either one of them and gone. But Man City have just sold Cole Palmer for 45 million to Chelsea. I don't understand it. I understand because Man City have now got into the process of when they buy players, they actually sell players now. Especially with their 117 breaches of FFP, they've started to clock on that they can't just spend what they want. But 45 million for Cole Palmer, that is, I never seen that one coming. You can't tell me we couldn't have gone to Chelsea and gone, look, you've got 150 players registered at your club. Can we take one on loan? And you're not telling me we wouldn't have had a pick of potentially 10 players, 5 of them probably younger players. They've just sold Hudson-Odoi to Nottingham Forest for 5 million quid. Yeah. You're not telling me you couldn't have done a job for us at 5 million quid.
Absolutely,
some teams have, like, you've seen that Fatty, whatever his name is, from Barcelona, go to Brighton, and then you've seen the winger that Brentford have gone and brought big money, right? These teams that we think are weaker teams are strengthening up, ain't they? That's the scary part. They are.
Yeah.
Everyone.
This is one of the issues, though, with the Premier League. If you don't sign anyone, you go backwards. You don't stagnate. You don't sit still. You go backwards. I mean, a lot of teams have figured that one out the hard way. I mean, Liverpool being the prime example of one of it. They won the league, and then the next season, they didn't sign anyone, and they ended up dropping. And again.
Well, this is the thing, you can be positive, you can be negative, and we all do it. James is on the positive tonight. I'm pretty positive. Rob's a bit more negative, but then I'll go negative with him sometimes. You could change your mood because you could say, right, yes, we've got Harrison, yes, we've got Danjuma, which makes me feel buzzing because I'm really happy we've done that. But then what about if next season Harrison doesn't come to us? Next season Danjuma doesn't come to us, and we've thinned our squad out this much. It's quite worrying, isn't it? Because they don't have to come to us. We've got nothing in the contract to get.
There's no obligations.
No obligations in Harrison's or Danjuma's. That's a bit scary, isn't it?
Yeah, but the counterbalance of that, sorry, I do apologize. The counterbalance of that is, though, the deadwood we've got rid of, the money we're saving on wages, surely we're going to be tipping more in the side of the green scale than the red scale. If they don't come and we don't outlay that fee for them, that's when we go look at other targets. That's when we look at long-term targets that maybe we haven't gone for this year or weren't available for us to go for this year. So, yeah, I know what you're saying about Harrison and Danjuma, but there's nothing to say that Harrison comes and it doesn't perform for us, or Danjuma gets an injury that he's out for the season. Do you know what I mean? There's so many variables that are there that you've got to take a look at. If they don't come, All right, that's fine. Well, we've saved this much in getting rid of this many players. Next season you'll also be looking. We won't be with Gomez. We won't be with Barman. Hopefully they go now, as opposed to that. Obviously, we don't know what the Dele Alli situation is going to be either. So you've just got to look at it that way. We've cleared out a lot of deadwood, which needed to go over the past 4 or 5 years, and we've cleared a lot more out. Yes, we haven't got that much coming in, but surely as well with the moves to Bramley Moore as well, with the revenue stream coming in a lot higher than what it's going to be if we stay at Goodison, it's all going in the right direction. It's just not quick enough in the direction that we need right this moment in time.
Yeah. I think if we was have done a little bit smarter business over the past couple of seasons, and also was a little bit stable, I think by the time we got into Bramley Moore, we'd be a hell of a lot better off. At this point in time, right now, we are kind of struggling. I think if we're able to get a mid-table finish this season, I think we'll be able to keep on to the likes of Jack Harrison and Danjuma. We might be able to actually coax them to actually come into the squad on a more permanent basis. But then again, the other side of the coin could be they could be absolutely crap for us. They could be just not the players that we want. I mean, Danjuma at the moment, he's proved himself fairly well. I mean, under the situations that we've had so far, he's been one of our, kind of our silver lining of the squad, because he's actually been trying to put effort in while we haven't got a striker.
No, agreed. 100%.
It'd just be interesting to see what Harrison's like coming off that wing.
I think Harrison is Harrison is just as safe as hell as a signing for me. You just know what you're going to get with him. I don't think there's any risk whatsoever. And I think one thing that might work in our favour is, I don't know if anybody's been watching Leeds this year, but I don't think Leeds are going to get promoted. So
I think they're going to miss out on promotion just about.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Jack Harrison's going to be rushing back there. So I think
They've
if he
had
has
a
a
lot
half
of-
decent season, he's going to. I think there'll be no problem getting him on a permanent basis.
No, they're having a lot of up and down games, aren't they? What was the last one? 4-3 in the league.
Yeah.
They're not. But then again, you've got to look at Leeds. Leeds have gone down, and Leeds don't particularly learn very well from their lessons from when they went down last time. They've lost 3/4 of their starting 11 out to loans and such, or being sold since relegated. So they're physically starting from afresh. Whereas you look at Southampton, yes, they've got rid of Ward-Prowse. One of the centre backs as well. They've lost a couple. They've just sold that Nathan Teller as well, haven't they, to Leverkusen? But they've predominantly got
Chelsea. Lavia went for a big money, didn't he?
Yeah, but they've still got predominantly the core of their squad that they were in the Premier League with. You look at Leicester. Vardy's still there, and Didi's still there. I mean, they've still got a good core strength of Premier League players that were there. Fair enough, they got relegated, but they're far too good to be playing in the Championship. Whereas Leeds are physically starting from the bottom and going back up. So
I would agree.
I
would agree. I would say that Leicester win the league, Southampton finish second, and then a wild card for the playoffs. But I don't see Leeds coming up, which I think helps us with Harrison, because if Harrison comes in and plays 25 games and plays half decent, he's not going to want to go back to Leeds, and plus they're not going to be able to keep him.
And then we'll go buy Nonto off them in the summer for 15 million.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to jump in and say. Yeah. This is where you can't act desperate, because Leeds are keeping Nonto on the chance that they come back up straight away. This is their parachute season or whatever, on the chance that they come back up, because Leeds spent a lot of money that window when they got rid of Phillips and all that lot. They brought in a lot of players, and they just seem like they want this window to be done. Keep all the good players that they can that haven't got clauses in the contracts, and try and come back up and then build from those good players that they've got. I don't blame them on keeping Nonto, but it would frustrate me as to pay 45 million for Nonto. I love him, by the way, but I wouldn't pay 45 million for him. I want to be the team that gets Nonto for the price that Leeds did. Yeah. That's what I want to do. I mean, there is still going to be more players later on down the line. We always think that it's be all and end all now, but it's not be all and end all now. We might talk about transfer window next season. There might be another Nonto about. There might be another winger that's amazing about. Every season, good players change, don't they? It's like when we first got linked to Decore. What was it? 40 million at first, wasn't it, when we got rejected? And then we eventually got in for 20 million a bit further down the line. Godfrey as well was big price tag. What was his friend who was the right back for Norwich
Max
as well?
Aarons,
Max Aarons, everyone was saying he was worth 35, 40 million, and he did nothing. And then you don't know, do you? It's big price tags on them at that point, but you don't know what they're going to do. It's like me. I was craving about Dennis that went to Nottingham Forest. I was buzzing about him. I wanted him, and I was like, he's the best player ever. And I don't think he was. I thought he was really good, but now I see it as an escape. And I just was like, pay 15 million for him, but I've not seen him since. He's not really played for Nottingham Forest, and he's been a massive flop. And I wanted him, and I could have wasted 15 million for Everton. So I've seen Alan Myers say, we'll only get players if we need players. And I do think you've got to be a bit sensible, haven't you? Although we are a bit thin in the squad, I wouldn't just get players for the sake of it, because we're all saying finally Everton have got rid of this. Finally, our squad's looking a bit better and we got rid of a lot of deadwood. You don't want to get more deadwood, do you?
The only problem is now, even though we've got rid of the deadwoods, we haven't really... Some gaps have been filled, but there's still holes that we need to sort out. Let's say, for argument's sake, worst case scenario, Brandthwaite has a bit of an injury, like let's say he pulls the hamstring, or Tarkowski, he gets tackled badly and ends up going out for like a month or two. The lads that we've got who are going to fill them gaps, they're not even half the quality of what they are.
No, and that's the problem we've all got, and that's where we're all seeing it. But as I alluded to earlier, as much as 22 million for Aobi is, with 12 months left on his contract, that is unbelievable business. It's where those funds are going to go, because they're clearly not going to go to strengthen the team. I don't think so. I think it's more of an asset being cashed in with 12 months to go, rather than let him walk, because you're not telling me you wouldn't take 22 million for him now, or 6 months later let him walk for nothing. It's 22 million quid, especially the position we're in. We're not in a position where we can turn our nose up to that. Rob was right in what he said. Dan said very similar. Everyone can bring his stats up about Aobi all you want. The one and key stat that I'll always live and die by when it comes to Alex Aobi is 6 goals, 156 games. I'm sorry, it's not a good enough output. It is really not. You're not telling me that someone like, say, Leon Osman, who was a very, very good servant for Everton Football Club, don't get me wrong, had a lot of talent. But you're not telling me he hasn't got as many attributes as Aobi has. The fact that Aobi can play across the whole front three, maybe not striker, can play across the whole of the midfield. You're not telling me he's not got attributes that, Leon Osman didn't unfortunately have, and we got a lot more out of Leon Osman than what we got out of Aobi.
It's true. It's like you said, that people speak about Aobi like Awobi's miles better than Osman. But Osman's stats was a lot better. It wasn't just what they put out, assists and goals. Osman was a lot more effective. You can tell on the eye, though, can't you? I don't get it. I've had so many battles with people on. This is why one good thing about Aobi going is because I don't need to get in any more Aobi debates. Because there's some Everton fans on Twitter that pull out some incredible stats for Aobi. I mean, I'm sure someone was saying he was in top 5 midfielders in the Premier League. Aobi, I couldn't believe it.
He was in like the top 3 of chances created, wasn't he, last season? I think, but genuinely, and I think the 2 that I'll beat him were Fernandes and De Bruyne. Are you telling me that you can have Alex Aobi in the same breath as Kevin De Bruyne or Bruno Fernandes? Because I'm sorry, both of those walk into our team, and both of those walk into our team over Alex Aobi. I don't care what anybody says; it's the truth.
This is what we were saying earlier, isn't it? It's not about putting the ball in the box; it's about the quality of the ball in the box. And Aobi just lumps it in there, but
he doesn't even read that.
I mean, for Aobi, this is the perfect time to leave, because I think he has kidded his way to clubs outside of Everton, because we're so bad. He looks like the one shining light that if you're somebody who watches Everton for 5 minutes on Match of the Day, you look and you go, geez, Aobi, he looks good. He looks half decent. But we know the true story. His stock has never been higher. If he signs a new deal, he's never going to get probably the contract he's going to get offered at the moment, or the interest from the amount of clubs if he goes on a free. It's the perfect time to leave for him. It's a good deal for us. I wish him well. Thanks for the Newcastle game. See you there.
It'll be the last big move he ever has. He won't get another big move in his career. He just won't. He's not at the right age. He's not the performer that he likes to think that he is. And there's a reason why Arsenal let him go. Because let's be fair, if he was as good as he believes he is, Arsenal would never have let him go, whether it be for 35 million or 55 million. If he was that good, he would never have left.
That's it. He'll sign a 4 or 5 year deal now with Fulham, and that'll be the end of it. But,
thank you, Marco Silva.
Yeah, he's taken them twice, and he didn't even want them the first time, which is quite funny.
I still can't believe, like, I didn't expect this, with the Aobi thing. I can't believe we're going to get 22 million for Aobi. I mean, I knew his contract was up. I knew he wasn't willing to sign it. Some other fans were still licking his arse, even though he clearly didn't want to sign a contract and play for our club. I don't know why. Don't know what give him that. So you'd think he's a king, still licking his arse when he don't want to sign a contract. Ungrateful git. But I still can't believe we got 22 million for him. I've been fuming since the moment he joined that we paid 35 for him or whatever. But 22 million, I feel happy now. I mean, he didn't do much for that 17 million extra, but generally, I do feel like a lot of that's back. And if we need the funds in as well, I would much rather sacrifice Alex Aobi than your likes of Onana, DCL, those that wore Pickford, those that would bring in a shiny penny out of the entire list that we've got that would bring in that fair, decent amount. Awobi's the one that I'm not upset that we lose if it means that we get to keep the likes of Pickford, Onana, and we're not trying to cash in or asset strip to have the money go elsewhere. Thank you, Alex Aobi. Good news. We got like, obviously we're live on transfer deadline day now. Like, Luke, do you think that anything can happen? Like, are you expecting a player to get announced now or not?
To be honest, this has happened a lot in the past. I know I've seen a lot of doom and gloom on Twitter saying, "Oh no, we're not going to sign anyone. We're not going to do this. Not going to do that." But Everton seem to be the guys who do seem to pull a random player from nowhere on deadline day. Because I remember when we were looking at getting, it was under David Moyes. It was the 08-09 season. We were not linked to anyone whatsoever, right the way from start to finish. And then all of a sudden, Carlo Nash got whipped up. And everyone was saying, "Oh, fuck, Carlo Nash, of all people." And then next morning, Marouane Fellaini pops into the bloody room. Like, where did he come from? Like, where are you even sniffing around him?
You've got to realise as well, Awobi's deal hasn't been confirmed yet.
No.
Morpay's deal hasn't been confirmed yet. Potentially, is that because we're looking at other things as well?
Yeah. Well, Morpay has arrived at Brentford's training grounds.
Yeah, I know. I drove him.
Well, we did have a medical.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You've had your don't forget that Paulinho from Fulham. He's had 2 parts of his medical at Bayern, and that's been called off, and he's been called back to Fulham. Mopay's gone to Brentford for medical. Awobi's been down in London having his medical for Fulham. We're here at what time is it now? I can't see my phone. 21:38. So we're 20 minutes to 10. It hasn't been confirmed yet. So is that potentially because we're looking at bringing somebody in, or we're working on another deal and we don't want to confirm until we've got what we want through the door? There's so many variables. I wouldn't hold your head in shame yet that we've not signed anyone, because as Luke just alluded to, the Marouane Fellaini deal completely caught everybody off guard, and look what he turned into in an Everton shirt.
No, I'm hoping they have got some undercover players in the hat. Surely that everything's on the system. That there's a lot of options. I don't know. I don't know. I hope someone does come in. It'd be nice to get a centre man.
I think it was Gareth Barry. I think I read a couple of months ago. He'd done an interview, and he said that he was in a hotel for like 2 days, wasn't he, before deadline day for the Everton deal to go through, and he didn't get a call for like the last half hour to go and sign his contract or whatever, something like that. I think it was Barry. I'm not sure who it was, but yeah, he was sat in a hotel on the motorway, just waiting for the call to go and sign contracts, and it come last minute, and then we got it through the door. So you never know. We could have something in the pipeline. We could not have something in the pipeline. We go obviously clutching at straws, but never count us out, because we have done it many times before.
This is a bit of a topic. I mean, I put the midfielders on the screen. We've got Gay, Harrison. Well, Paul did it, thanks to him. Harrison, Onana, Decore, Ali, Gomez, Garner, and Younger McAllister. The topic on this is, obviously he's not in that, but he's ahead. But Dele Alli, let's just talk about him.
I'm just going to bow out for 5 minutes, boys. I just need to go.
I'll let you go out. We'll have a little conversation as a free.
Yeah. In regards to Dele Alli, I think this would probably be his final chance. In all honesty, that's, as we know, he's had issues with his injuries. He went here, there, and everywhere, getting chances with the likes of the Turkish league and all that. Apparently, didn't do well with the Turkish league, and then all of a sudden got this injury. I'm hoping this is his biggest wake-up call possible under Dyche, where he's going to turn around, sort his fitness out, gets into this squad, and makes a name for himself. I really hope he does, because he had so much potential when he was at Tottenham, when he was a young lad. So for him to waste all that potential and end up fading into obscurity and probably not even being looked at from the Saudi league would be a terrible shame.
No, I honestly feel he's got a good chance of coming back. But then I don't know if you get this response as well. When you tweet it, your comments underneath say he's only got 4 or 5 games, and we won't play him those 4 or 5 games. So we won't, because we'll have to pay 10 million, and we won't play him this season. That is the comments that you get into, and I generally think like if you are keeping him this season to play 4 or 5 games, that's ridiculous. I can't see. Like, do you explain that to me? Because what do you think, Rob? Like, you can't keep him for 4 or 5 games for a whole season. That can't be the reason we're keeping him. Surely we must want to break the duck of the 4 or 5 games.
I think there's a couple of things to consider here. I think obviously he had the overlap interview where he came out and he told people about his issues and mental health problems and things that have happened to him in the past. And I think from a club point of view, it looked really cold to ship him out the door after that interview. Do you know what I mean? Like, the guy's come out, he said this has happened to him. He's been struggling. He's had a hard time. He's had a really rough childhood. His parents weren't there. It looks really, really poor if then you start shopping him around and trying to get rid of him. He said the club were great. The club is supporting him. I think the club can't get rid of him. But also, it's a real catch-22 because he hasn't played. Even when he did play, he didn't play well. Then he was at Besiktas and he left and got injured. And now he's been training, but nowhere near the first team. It's grand when you're in the top 10 and you're in a cup competition and you can throw these players in and maybe they can have 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. But when you've lost 3 games on the bounce and you haven't scored a goal and every game is, sooner or later they're going to turn into 6-pointers, it's very hard to bring a guy in from the cold and expect him to all of a sudden change everything. The other problem is exactly as you said, he's got 7 games until we have to pay for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays a couple of games here or there later on in the season, but I'd be shocked to see him come in and play.
Yeah, but I actually, do you know what though? This is a good thing. We all have different opinions and stuff. I actually think this is the perfect opportunity for him. He's cleared everything off his chest. I think, like you say, I get what you're saying. Like, we've probably kept him because you can't get rid of him because it'll look bad if you get rid of him after coming out with that interview. But I also think a lot of people would have been interested in him and he could have moved if he wanted to. I think even Tottenham was saying get him back. I think everyone wanted a bit of that fresh start Dele Alli. I think Sean Dyche is a person that likes the challenge to get the old guy back. When Sean Dyche come in, he always said, like, you've been this player. What do we need to do to get you back to this play? You're at this football level for a reason. I think Sean Dyche will embrace trying to get that old Dele Alli back. Dele Alli's also come out and he said, I don't want to be what I was. I want to be better. Now, it's easy saying that. I get it. But generally, if he's had a word with Sean Dyche and he does want to, and Sean Dyche has said to him, right, you've got the ability in that number 10 position. You've got it. You can finish. I know that. You can run in late and ghost and get goals. You've got that, Dele Alli, but you're going to have to work a lot harder. That's what you're slacking on. You ain't putting the work rate in as well. You need the fitness and the ability to get back to where you are. I'd like to think that they've kind of met and spoke. And Sean Dyche has probably said, if you want it, Dele Alli, I'll work with you to get back to you. If you don't, let me know and we'll move you on. I'm hoping that, and that's the reason we've kept him. I think with Beto, by the way, who's a big lad, you get a lot of knockdowns from him, don't you, Beto? I think you knock the ball up to him and you get a knockdown, and it's crying out for if Doucouré. You look how many goals Doucouré got at the end of last season. He scored 2 against Brighton, and he was scoring against everyone. Doucouré was in that position. I can't see why, if Dele Alli comes in and works hard in the Doucouré position, why Dele Alli couldn't do that as well. I really can't, because he's probably got better. Well, he has got better finishing ability than Doucouré. I'm not putting Doucouré down because I actually like Doucouré just lately. So I generally feel there's a position there for Dele Alli. I do, and I'm hoping that it's the fairy tale story. It's a risk. It is a risk, but if everyone's saying Aobi is a number 10, I'll play Dele Alli there if he's fit, rather than Aobi all day long.
I think the problem as well is that I think, God, what I would have given for Dele Alli to have a pre-season, what I would have given for him to be able to play in games that didn't count as competitive games. So it's almost like there's a timer above his head, and every time he enters the pitch, it's one more ticked off and one more ticked off and one more ticked off. And it doesn't make any sense to bring him on with 5 minutes to go in the game, because every time you bring him on for 5 minutes to go in a game, you've only got to do that 4 times. And next thing, he's only got 3 games left or 2 games left. I think missing preseason was absolutely massive. What I would do personally is when we get a break, or when we get some under 23 games and he's fit, I'd get him playing in behind closed doors friendlies, under 23 games as the older, over 25 eligible player. I'd get him playing in as many games as possible that don't count as competitive games, and just have a look at him, see if there's anything there. Because there's no point bringing him on with 5 minutes to go. Because you do that 7 times, you owe 10 million quid.
Yeah, it is risky. You've got to make sure you're 100% on it. Yeah, I've got to make sure you're 100% on it. Jamie, you're back?
I'm back. Yeah, I've still listened to the conversations we've been going through. It's a tough one with Dele Alli, isn't it? Because I think not just as Evertonians, but I think as a whole footballing fan base, after his interview, I think nobody wants anything but the best for Dele Alli. It's shocking, obviously, what he had to go through as a kid, and he's obviously openly admitted it. Obviously, we were all privy to that information until he opened up and let us all know. I think the club can only be applauded for supporting him and letting him go and try and deal with his issues. He does seem in a different headspace based on the interview, but you don't become a bad player overnight. There's still a player in there, and I think if we do play with one up front and we do have an attacking midfielder, and you just alluded to it there with knockdowns from Beto, because we've finally got somebody that we can hopefully rely on to stay fit and hopefully play that role where, because you've seen it against Doncaster. The thing that I really enjoyed seeing with Beto wasn't the fact that he scored, wasn't the fact that he was running beyond defenders. It was the fact that, yeah, he may have played a misplaced pass here or there, but when he actually had the ball, he held the ball up and he looked to bring others into play. So if you're not telling me that if we can't get, as Rob said there, we can't get Ali fit, we can't play him in under 23 games or whatever, try and get him back to, something to the standard of what he was. You're not telling me having somebody like Beto up top, Harrison and McNeil, those banging balls in for them to get a knockdown. You're not telling me that's not catered 100% to Dele Alli floating in and ghosting in and picking up those goals that we so vitally need, that sometimes I feel as a club that we don't take advantage of. Fair enough, Doucouré did take advantage of a couple of them to the end of last season. He's not hit the ground running yet this season. The opening day of the season was the biggest thing, and the thing that frustrates me the most with Doucouré, it was that chance where we went clean through and he had, I think it was Mopé to the left of him, and the defender was with him, but he had James Garner alone on the right and he decided to go for goal. Whereas if you'd have just squared that over to James Garner, Garner just puts that into an empty net. And it's so frustrating because Doucouré, he's like a deer in headlights when he gets in front of the goal sometimes. And he's got like an Aobi mentality that he just goes to pieces and sometimes just doesn't make the right decision. And I'd much rather have somebody like Dele Alli in that position, who you've seen over the years. Yes, he scores goals, but he can also assist and he can also bring others into play because he's got that football intelligence that sometimes I think Doucouré lacks. So I'd quite happily take a risk on if it's 7 games, it's 7 games, or 2-1 Luton, 2-1 West Ham. I'd like to see him given a chance. again, there's a lot of work to do for him, and Rob's just hit the nail on the head. You know, if he'd have had a pre-season and we'd have been able to actually see him in competitive games in pre-season, to actually see what Dele Alli's there. Because don't forget, this is the Dele Alli in the Crystal Palace game that come on at half time, not even 50% of the player that he was, that changed that second half for us. So I still think
he even scored in the pre-season, didn't he? I know he missed a sitter in the pre-season, but he did score a goal. I think it was against Blackpool, wasn't it? He scored, if I'm right. I think he did score.
Last season, he scored 2. Didn't he? He scored 2 in one game.
2 in one game in the pre-season. He could be like. I'm just hoping he sparks. In my head, we always think the best. We're Everton fans. We have to. That's how we survive as fans. We have to see the light all the fucking time. Otherwise, we'd be jumping off cliffs by the second. But we generally, I do think that he could spark it. I think he could. I don't think we care about the 10 million if he sparks it. Do you know, like when Lingard went to West Ham on loan, and he picked up that form and he was back and boom, banging goals, and I could see him, like you've just said, Jamie. If Dele Alli did get form, I could see him keeping it. I think he is a player that will just keep. If he finds goals, he'll keep finding goals, and he'll want to be who he used to be. I think we'll need him. We'll need him to be who he used to be if we don't bring anyone in for Aobi.
There's a fresh bit of transfer news here.
Is it?
Gravenberch is just
transfer news.
Everton news. Are you ready?
Go on.
Fresh claim has noted that Everton loan bid for Maxwell Cairney is back on.
How are they playing the game?
Maxwell Cairney, West Ham on loan. He's not in the West Ham squad, I believe.
This is the latest Everton news. We have news. We have news. Woo, 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 woo. Big up the hash. We've got a first bit of news. How do you feel about that, Luke?
Let's not get ahead of us. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
He was an unused substitute today.
Well, do you know what?
There's your loan. I'll put that in my basket.
Yeah, he's not the We've already got the chant ready. Just one Max Cairney. He's on
to me. Gravenberch is fucking signed for.
I love it. I don't even care if I want Cairney or not. I just want to transfer to Everton. So hopefully that goes ahead.
I don't think. I mean, he's a Dyche player. Makes sense, doesn't it? He can play left back. He can play right back. He can play right midfield. I mean. I'll take it. I'll take it now.
You know what? We do need a proper right winger, though. We do actually need a proper right winger. So that could be the one.
Is he right-footed? Is he right-footed? I don't know.
He's left-footed. He's left-footed. However, it wouldn't surprise me if Harrison ended up playing on the right.
Yeah, Harrison will put it.
I'd have him as cover as a left back because I just don't like either of our left backs. So,
is this definitely going to happen now? Then I'm excited a bit more now.
I wouldn't say definitely, but he has played for Dyche before. He played for Burnley. He signed for West Ham. He does not get a kick for West Ham.
He's been injured, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, they probably want him out the door because they pay big money for him. He's probably on relatively high wages. I'd say if they could get him out, I'd say that would be a deal they would do. And we could deal with it.
I'd take Maxwell Cairney myself.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I would.
He knows where the goal is. He scored against us enough time.
Against those, yeah, he has. Yeah.
So, I mean, for me,
he's on the bench for the.
Carry on.
He's one of those, though, isn't he? He'll come in and he'll do a job, and if it's a year loan, it's a year loan. It's one of those. But I personally would take Maxwell Cairney. I liked him before. We were linked with him, weren't we? Before Burnley signed him, or was it when he was moving from Burnley? Yeah, exactly.
West Ham signed him, yeah.
Before West Ham signed him, yeah. I'd take him if it's a loan and the wages are split, favourably, or 50-50. It's as long as he's fit, it's not much of a risk. It's a body through the door that can cover a number of positions. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not getting my hopes up, but if that's the case, I'll quite happily take that.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. But look, it gives us something to to talk about for the next hour because it's been. I mean, I woke up this morning and I thought it's going to be a busy day. 5 lads out, 3 lads in, happy days,
Yeah.
and I've sat here all day with my earphones on and nothing has happened. Absolutely nothing.
I mean, that could
It's,
work.
odd, it's oddly been a quietish deadline day, hasn't it?
Yeah.
There's been news that's broke this morning about like Gravenberch and like Cancelo's just completed his loan move to Barcelona, which again is a funny one. I don't quite understand that. Then you got the Nunes deal to Man City, the Cole Palmer one to Chelsea. You know what I mean? There's not really been breaking news throughout the day like you've seen with many of the deadline days.
Right, I've got news for you guys.
Go on, here we go.
It's not Everton related, but it's an interesting one. Barcelona have signed João Cancelo on loan from Man City. That's an interesting one, actually.
It's strange, though, that, isn't it? How has he gone on loan to Bayern? How has he gone on loan to Barca? I don't get it.
They've done 2, though, which is a weird one. They've got João Felix and him now. They've got João Felix from Atletico, and now they've got Cancelo from Man City. I know Barcelona, they're trying to rebuild. They're bloody, they've been coming apart the seams for years now.
But it's for a player of Cancelo's ability, though. It's a strange one that I personally don't think he couldn't get in that Man City squad, whether it be right back, left back. I just don't think Pep fancies him.
No, to be honest, though, with that bloody Man City squad, they could field their C team and take on most Premier League teams without any issues. They've got way too much depth, way too much money. I mean, Phillips, who they've got now, who they signed from Leeds, he was a very massive potential player, and they've starved him off the squad. But then again, they've done that in the past. They did that with John Stones. They've done that with Jack Grealish. So what's to say they aren't going to go next season? Actually, you know what? We'll get him in. He'll start becoming the hot commodity, and then all of a sudden he's one of the most expensive players.
He's not going to get in that squad over Rodri, though. Name a better defensive midfielder in the world at the moment. You can't, but he's not going to get in that squad against Rodri. Rodri stays clear of injuries. He stays clear of suspensions. He's too important for that team. And you look at the goal. Who was it they played the other day where he scored the goal? Was it Sheffield?
Yeah.
Where he scored the winner. He brings far too much to the table for Philip, which is why, and we've had this conversation, and I know we're going to keep coming back to it, why taking Calvin Phillips from them this season on loan would have been the most idealistic thing for us to go for.
Yeah, because it works in 2 ways. We get a decent player, they get one off the books, we pay his wages. Then again, I'm saying getting them off the books, they've got literally a bottomless pit of money. Basically, Scrooge McDuck looks at their money pit and is envious.
Yeah.
I was just looking now. The Shea Adams thing flopped, didn't it? That's not happened, has it? He was going to go to somewhere else. We're not interested in him anymore, are we?
I think Southampton have made an absolute mess of that. I think they played their hand. They thought we were going to cave. They thought they were going to get more out of us than he was worth. And we've gone and got a better player. And now they're going, oh, shite. Now we're stuck with this fella.
Potentially trying to loan him out. It's crazy, isn't it?
The fact he was going to go on loan when they turned down 15 million last week. You know what? I'm delighted. I'm absolutely delighted he's going to be stuck there. Because, I mean, the old Everton would have paid that money.
Yeah.
It looked like we were going to at one stage.
Do you ever think, you know, with some of these players who they're linked to it, it's pretty much they're close to the door and then all of a sudden they move. And then when they go to this other team, let's say for argument's sake, they're a flop, like let's say Max Aaron's being one of them. Do you ever think if they actually got through the door at Everton, it would have been a very different story?
Yeah, there's been a few over the years, a few lads who've gone elsewhere that I really wanted. And
yeah.
It is just a bit like that sometimes. The one lad I always remember was, do you remember Sam Byram? Does anybody remember Sam Byram?
Oh, when he picked West Ham over us because his family were all West Ham
over us. Yeah, and he went to West Ham and had an absolute stinker. I think he got released and went back to Wolves. Oh, sorry, back to Leeds.
He's gone to Leeds, yeah. He's gone back to Leeds.
So he left Leeds. They released him. He went back there. And I always remember thinking, if he'd have signed for us, I really wanted him. And isn't it just funny how your career can work out that way? And he's back where he started and never really went on to achieve anything.
Unfortunately, that's
that
all
was
it takes.
bad.
Isn't it? All it takes is to have one good season. You get a move, and then it doesn't quite facilitate what everybody believes that you're going to be.
It's normally the World Cup, isn't it? After a World Cup, the player does well over the World Cup and then isn't the same. Some are, like James Rodriguez, obviously, he was amazing for Colombia and he was amazing after, but you can't trust that they're going to be what there was in the World Cup, can you? That's the thing.
And even then, you can't be sure. Like, I remember when we signed James Beattie. I mean, I was convinced this guy was coming in. He was getting 15, 20 goals a season, not a bother. He was an animal at Southampton.
I don't know what it is. We just have terrible luck when it comes to players coming from Arsenal. I mean, you've had James Beattie, Jeffers, Richard Wright, Aobi, Walcott. They just don't seem to link unless there's someone I'm missing.
From Arsenal,
Aobi as well. There you go.
Does anybody remember Stephen Hughes? Jesus. No, but the Beattie one hurt because he was an animal at Southampton and we bought him and he just never looked right, did he? His best game was actually against Arsenal, ironically. He scored in a 1-0 win.
Yeah, it just James Beattie's he's an enigma, isn't he? And you get that with a lot of Southampton strikers. They're a big fish in a small pond, and they're down there on the south coast. And you know what I mean? They play well for Southampton. They've been renowned for having good strikers. I mean, you look at who's the Italian lad they used to like, Graziano Pella. Look at the season he had in the Premier League. He moved on. You haven't even heard of him since. I think he's actually in the Chinese Super League or whatever now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where he is now because he had that one good season, didn't he? And that was when the Chinese Super League were buying players for big money. He went there, and you've not heard anything of him since. So,
I'll give you another one as well. There was a few years ago. I think it was Mourinho's first year at Southampton. At United, they played Southampton in the League Cup final. I think Zlatan scored 2 and they won 3-2. But Southampton had a lad up front. Don't know if any of you remember him. Manolo Gabbiadini.
Yeah, he went back to Italy, didn't he? And again, you've heard nothing.
He did. He did a Jelavic. They signed him in the January, and he was unbelievable.
Couldn't stop scoring.
He was unbelievable. Every time he touched the ball, he scored. And then the next summer, he never scored one goal all season. And they sold him for
good news, guys. We're off the bottom.
Meet you again. Yeah, because Luton got beat, so we're off the bottom of the league.
Oh, you little shitbag. I thought it was good news.
Same with
the only way is up, baby.
Same with Michu, though, as well, at Swansea.
Yeah.
He had that unbelievable season, and then he's not been heard of since. Last time I heard, he was playing for Real Oviedo. He's retired now. Yeah, I think the last team he played for was Real Oviedo, which is where he started his career in like the third tier of Spanish football. So it just shows one good season. Jelavic again is another clear example from an Everton perspective. Those six months when we got him from Rangers.
I'll tell you mine. Who's the player where you got him and you thought, wow? I'll tell you a player who I got excited about who didn't live up to it. Joe from Man City. Because Man City obviously played that much for Joe. I generally thought we've got a player that we could not afford. Like this player, let's get how much he costs for Man City. That sort of Joe. And I was buzzing when we got Joe, but he just never lived up to it, did he? He was all right.
Yeah, well, he did actually score a good goal.
He scored 2 on his debut against Hull.
Yeah, it was his debut. What's the name?
He scored 2.
He got a good turn on the defender and just popped it around the corner. It was perfect.
Yeah. We loaned him again the next year. He never scored.
So what was the question? The one player we signed that hasn't quite lived up to it.
Yeah, signing that hasn't lived up to the expectation. Like I said, Joe wasn't bad, but I thought when they had Robinho and all that, I thought we did a Brazilian superstar when we got him, and he wasn't quite what I wanted him to be. He was all right. We'll take it on turns. A signing that you got that didn't live up to it.
I'll go first. Yeah, my immediate response of a player that I absolutely loved, that I thought was going to do big things for us, is Mr. Theo Walcott.
Okay.
I still
Who just
thought he
never
had
lived
more.
up.
Yeah, I still thought he had more than what he did.
I was so happy when we got him, and I loved him at Arsenal. And I just felt that he could have played on the right, he could have played up front for us, and I thought he could have been massive for us, and he just massively didn't live up to the expectation, unfortunately.
Do you think it was a bad move us getting him, then, or do you feel like
No,
we
I
still
don't
got a bit
necessarily
out of
think
him?
I still think we got a fair bit out of him. He did play a fair number of games. Unfortunately, he was injured for a lot of the time again. That will plague his career. But from what he was at Arsenal and the goals he scored at Arsenal, he wasn't what we bought. He didn't live up to what we were buying him for. That's the only thing, because I liked him so much as a footballer. When we signed him, I had such high expectations for what he could have been, and I just feel like he didn't reach the height of what we wanted him to, or at least what I wanted him to be.
Help me, I'm trapped in James Basin. I've just read that.
Paul, shut the fuck up now.
Behave.
I wish you the best of luck, Paul. Jamie's basement is triple thick.
I'm going to ask you two yours. Everything Everton's still here.
Ooh, Russian Drenthe.
You know, the only thing I didn't like about him is his attitudes, because that was the reason we terminated his bloody loan with us.
Did anyone see the Tim Howard interview where he said, there was a couple of bad eggs at Everton, and he named Royce and Drenthe, and he said he turned up in a Rolls Royce on the first day, and then after like 2 weeks, he went to training ground in the middle of the night with all his mates and loads of girls. And got them all in the hot tub and that at Finch Farm. What the fuck?
Yeah, I've seen that. Makes you think, doesn't it? You don't know what goes on behind the scenes sometimes. I remember when we first got Drenthe, there was like, this guy can chase pigeons and stuff like that.
That goal against Fulham.
Yeah.
That reminds me. So the one for me would be Moise Keane. Big prospects with Juventus when they have Ronaldo and all them. And when he came to us, Jesus Christ, that kid's head was not screwed on right.
Still not.
Nah, it's the dreadlocks, I think.
No, because I was massively behind him. I was, and I
had ambitions that he was going to be the bloody next Lukaku for us.
I thought he was Ronaldo. I did.
Good movement. It was just head dropped so quickly.
I was expecting Ronaldo when Ronaldo says he's going to be good and he's playing with Ronaldo. I thought we're on to this. Everyone spoke highly of him as well, though. You know, it wasn't a bad deal to go for, because even my mates that are Man U fans, there was like, you've got a good player here, Moise Keane. I can't believe you've got him. Like, Ronaldo says he's called Juventus project. Can't believe you've got him, and it just shows, doesn't it? It really does show you sometimes on transfer windows. You think you've got something that you haven't. Do you feel like we did anything bad with Moise Keane? Like, do you feel we should have got more of a chance, or do you just think he just wasn't?
I think it was just a bad situation, to be honest. I mean, when we got him, I think it was something like 6 weeks later, everyone was in lockdown. So he was stuck on his bill with no family or anything around him. So his mental state there would have probably been going down the toilet real quick.
I thought you'd turn that up because it was Everton. Then I thought, here we go.
It's Southampton.
We just signed JJ Okocha. He's come back. I thought we'd done this in the centre of midfield.
They said Southampton's are looking there. That Bella Catcher's gone to PSV on loan.
Come on, lads. Let's just work together now and try and get a transfer. People in the comments, just join in. Let's have a bit of Everton luck tonight. We need to get one in the bag. We can't put 3 hours grafting and not get a player over the line. Even if it's a loan, I'll take Cornet.
Who's yours, Rob? Who's your player that we signed?
Go on, Rob.
I've got two for very different reasons. So
greedy.
Well, just because we mentioned them earlier, the one we signed this player, and I had zero excitement whatsoever because I think that league is a bit of a joke, and that person being Yelovich, and when he started and just hit everything in the back, I was like, oh my god, this guy is. I just thought that summer he'd signed in January, he scored like 11 goals between then and the end of the season, and the next season I put him to be the top goal scorer in the entire league. I was just like, this lad just is going to score 25 goals. That one hurt me when his form stopped. It really, really hurt.
Got that knee injury, didn't he, when he collided with the post? That was it.
And then Lukaku came in on loan, and then he was gone 6 months later. He went to Hull or something like that, I think. But the one player we signed, who I was telling all the lads in school, like, lads, this fella, he's going to be unbelievable, because I used to play a lot of Pro Evolution Soccer, and I used to sign all these lads, was Andy van der Meijden.
Oh, what a crock of shit he was.
We signed Andy van der Meijden, and I ran around telling everybody, we got Van der Meijden from Inter Milan. He plays for Holland. He's played for Ajax. This fella's unbelievable. And Jesus Christ, what an absolute disaster.
If he'd have stayed off the beat, he'd have been all right.
He did one thing ever.
Hey, silver lining.
The FA Cup.
He set up Dan Gosling's goal in the Merseyside derby.
FA Cup, yeah.
That's the only thing. And Aobi scored that goal against Newcastle. I'm still happy to see the back of him as well.
Yeah, but he was the one who I thought. I mean, there's been a list of them. There's been lads I've signed. Like, I remember Kevin Morales. I just thought he was incredible.
Retired. We never really got more of a chance, to be honest.
What about the? Let's do. Obviously, we're just waiting. By the way, people on top of Clucas, we're waiting to announce transfer for you, but. Not much happening at the minute. I mean, I've just seen someone get in a car here. It's not for us, but someone's got in a car. Brighton, that is. I've got the news for Brighton here. Who's a player that you thought was going to be shit and you wasn't happy that you was going to get? I know him straight away in my head.
I already know mine.
I already know mine.
I know mine straight away.
Are we all going to say the same? Luke, get yours in your head as well. Yeah? Oh, you got it, Luke. A player you thought that was going to be like crap and you're like, oh my God, why have we got him? And then he turns out to be really good.
Well, I'm going to start this one because I'm not sure that my player was ever really good. But what I will say is that my initial thinking of us signing him was, oh my God, please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. And he turned out to be half decent, in my opinion. Was Darren Gibson.
Oh, that's not mine. That's not the same as me.
My L lad is a big Man United fan, and I used to listen to him every day, scream at Darren Gibson on the TV. And then we signed him for 500 grand, and I was going, oh my God. And then he scored the winner against City. He was decent under Moyes. I really liked him. It was all right for 500 grand. He was not a bad signing.
He had good stats. I think I can remember that he kept popping it on the screen where Everton never lost with him.
They never lost the game in his first. They never lost the game in his first 18 months when he played, which was incredible.
And I can remember those stats because I was like, get him in the team. If we don't lose with him, he's got good stats. I've got the breaking news here now as well, which is nothing on Everton. What's yours, Jamie?
A one, Mr. Gareth Barry.
Yeah, that's mine. So
yeah, Gareth Barry.
Yeah, that's mine.
When we signed him, and I think it probably is the majority of the fan base. That was oddly enough the season that we signed him. I was a season ticket holder in the Upper Gladys, and I remember the game against Chelsea. I believe it was his first game, and I don't think it was it that game. I don't know. I don't think that's the game we're on about. When we first signed him, it was Chelsea at home, and Howard was in goal, and somebody played a back pass out to him. Howard did clear, and he cleared it off the line. Yeah. Gareth Barry out absolutely nowhere, and from that moment, I just fell in love with the man, and he was nothing but an absolute professional, as he was throughout his whole career. And I thought at that stage when we signed him, it was one of those ones where we've got him on his last legs. His legs aren't there. He's not going to get up and down the pitch. And he turned into one of the most solid defensive midfielders I've ever seen in the Everton midfield. He was fucking brilliant.
Well, since you all picked Gareth Barry, I have a question for you now. What about a player you signed who you thought was crap, and he turned out to be crap?
Should we name the old 11 of Everton?
I have a very good one. Morgan Schneiderlin, yeah, good one.
That's a good one, to be fair.
I've got one for this one. Aidan McGeady, right? I had watched Aidan McGeady play for Ireland for about 10 years, and he did the same thing every week, 10 million step overs, and then nothing else after it. And I went to Stephen Naismith's testimonial. They played Porto, I think. It was a 1-1 game. And there was a guy from Liverpool with his son behind me. And they were talking about how it was going to be a big season for McGeady. And I had a few pints, and I turned around and I'd said, lads, McGeady is absolute dog shit. He's one of the worst players you'll ever see. This guy couldn't believe it. And I was proven right in the end. McGeady, awful player. Awful player.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And I agree with Sneijderlin's the main one for me. I really didn't want him. I couldn't stand him as well. I thought he was shit for Man United, and then we got him, and I thought he was shit for us. He's definitely at the top of my list.
When we got him as well, there was a thing going on at the time with Everton. We're rewarding the players based on their game stats. And how Morgan Schneiderlin basically played that was he would do the easy back pass or side pass. And as a midfielder, that's one of your main keys is just passing. So he pretty much, when someone confronted him and said, why are you doing this? He said, I've got 100% pass rate. What's the problem? It's like, yeah, you're passing it backwards, back to the fucking keeper or passing it to the defender. You're not doing any progressive passing. You're just basically winding us backwards.
We did that for a long time, though, didn't we? It was like after the Sneijderlin come, and since then, even with Sigurdsson, we was crabs, weren't we? Sideways. We never passed the ball forward, did we? There were so many games where the whole first half, we should have gone and beat a team, but we passed it backwards, thinking the second half would be the same. And then we took a spank in the second half and said, why didn't we take advantage of the first half when we had the ball? We never passed it forward. That is one good thing that I will praise Sean Dyche for. Sometimes he just does get the ball forward, doesn't he? We don't try and overpass it sometimes now, do we? Probably because we can't, but we definitely don't try and overpass it.
That's probably it.
Shout out to Sigurdsson as well. He's just signed for Danish side Lyngby, hasn't he? Signed yesterday. He's on a 1-year deal.
Would you have had him back in this team?
No. It's PR suicide, isn't it? Fair enough. He was never convicted. Fair enough. He was never found guilty. Innocent until proven guilty in my eyes. However, there was never a road back to him in English football, and I think very much can be said about Mason Greenwood. The man should never set foot on a football field in this country ever again. Everyone could have their own opinions on Mason Greenwood. I heard the recordings. I have my own opinion on things like that. I never ever want to see that man grace the football field ever again in this country, and if he does, the backlash he'll get from opposing fans will be absolutely horrendous, and the lad won't live it down ever. In response to the question, though, the one player who we signed that I thought was shit and turned out to be shit, Aruna Kone. I hated him. I hated how low.
Be all right. When I watched him with the cup for them, I thought it'd be all right.
Mate, Ben Watson scored the winner against Man City in the FA Cup final. Did I fuck want that Ginger Nugget in our midfield? No, mate. Anyone can score a goal. I'm sorry. Aruna Kone was shit for me when he was at Wigan. I just didn't want him. We signed him. He was shit for us, apart from a handful of games. I'm sorry.
I think his hair made him look good, didn't it? It was the light bulb head that made him look good.
Mate, he got like a pint of Guinness. No, it doesn't make him a good footballer.
Sort of style. I've got a clock here. They've got the Big Ben clock on breaking news here. What time is it? Like quarter past, 18 minutes past.
18 minutes.
Give us a player. Give us a player. Farewell. Sort it out. Just do something. Give us a player to announce.
I said this when you disappeared, Dan. It's been a lackluster deadline day from what I thought it was going to be. I'm very much like Rob. I woke up very excited, very hopeful that it was going to be a busy. Here he is, the man mountain himself. I thought it was going to be a busy, hectic day for deals, but apart from the things that pretty much were talked about first thing this morning, the deals that were talked about this morning, nothing big or majors really happened on deadline day. I'm a bit lackluster for me, not just as an Evertonian, but as a football fan in general. There's not really much that's gone on.
No, I generally thought when you lot are all messaging me this morning, Mope's going, Aobi's going. You think guaranteed you've got to bring someone in. No, I understand the Mope because two strikers went, but the other way round, Aobi, I don't think Aobi was good, but I think the fact that he started nearly every game this season, he was involved in most of the end of last season. I think that you've got to replace him. You can't let him go. You can't take 22 million for Aobi and not put it back in. That's why I'm still hoping now that something goes on, because has the Aobi deal done, by the way? Is it done?
Not been announced yet.
No.
Nothing's concrete yet. Nothing's been announced, which is why I'm a bit sceptical, because you've got to look at the Brennan Johnson deal to Spurs as well. I know they've just spoke about it a couple of minutes ago, but nothing's been confirmed. They can still get the deal sheet in before 11, which allows them some extra time to get the deal over the line. Nothing's set in stone yet. Aobi at this moment in time is still Everton player until it's fully announced and it's fully gone through. So I understand what you're saying about, we should really replace him, but you've also got to look at it on the flip side again. I'm trying to be nothing but positive here, because if I'm not positive, I'll end up crying on stream, and I don't want that. I don't want that out in the universe.
We need to make it more EastEnders, Coronation Street. We need a bit of stuff kicking around.
You've got to look at Aobi going out. Fair enough. If we don't replace him, it was highly unlikely we were going to get somebody to put straight into the starting 11 for him. But it also, now him going, it opens the door for somebody else to grab that position and make that position their own. It brings the possibility and the ability for somebody else to step up and make that starting position theirs each week.
Yeah, you have to be positive.
It gives Demarai Gray a new shirt number, which is good.
What shirt number do you think Demarai Gray should have?
69.
Yeah, that's a good start, to be fair. Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. We'll give him 69.
He's got 2 goals last season, 2 goals the season before.
I actually do you know what? I don't mind Demarai Gray. I don't mind him. I generally could, if we kept him, I could take that with not having many wingers. I could take Demarai Gray. Aobi now, I actually feel now we've been told that we can get 22 million for him. If that doesn't go ahead, I'll be absolutely gutted, because I do not think he's going to sign another contract at the end of the season. So I think that it's a miracle that someone's come in with 22 million before his contract ends in 1 year. That's just mad. I don't know how it's happened, but I just want it to be put to bed now and it to happen. Because even if we don't spend that 22 million for Aobi, it's just in the bank, innit? And it's just money we need, because we're going to get nothing. We're going to get nothing if we don't sell him.
I'll be surprised if... sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I agree. If I wake up tomorrow and Demarai Gray's still here, that's fine. If I wake up tomorrow and Aobi's still here, I am devastated.
And me.
Devastated.
Again, though, what's stopping us from getting rid of him in January?
Well, he won't be 22 million in January.
It's a problem. It's going to be less time on his contract
10 million maybe max.
And Fulham, I don't think we'll have that spending spree of getting rid of Mitrovic. I generally feel it's just a mad one.
He can sign a pre-contract with foreign clubs in January, so he'll probably just go to Spain or Italy or something for free. So
I would definitely put a clause in Aobi's contract, because with how much Evertonians say how good Aobi is with his stats, he'd probably end up at Barcelona after Fulham. So I definitely would put a sell-on clause in Aobi's contract.
The thing is with Demarai Gray as well. I know what you're saying about he could potentially come in a bit. His stats are more up and down than Katie Price's. Nick, I'm sorry, he's not gonna be the world beater that we need, is he? Let's be fair. I don't think, and I'll be extremely surprised if he stays beyond the Saudi window, because it's another couple of weeks, and nobody's going to turn around and go, well, where's the Demarai Gray money going? Because if we get 12 million or so for Demarai Gray, that'll probably go either back to Usmanov, or it'll go into the stadium, or it'll go to something else, because we can't and we won't spend it at that time. So I'll be surprised if he stays beyond the Saudi window. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't be too upset if he did go.
I think he stays. Personally,
I'm looking at this now, and
if you've got Aobi and Gray going as well, though. If you got Aobi and Gray going, and we don't get anyone in, that money is there then possibly for January. When in a few months' time, we're going to be saying, "God, we need some players."
Yeah, you got to see it. That is a good positive spin to put on it. If you think we'll be okay without, if you feel that those players wouldn't have been more affected to have had the whole season, if you know what I mean, that is the only problem.
Yeah.
But then you do know what you need more in January, I suppose. I'm not massively worried. I just generally, like I say, I want Aobi gone now. That's something I'm looking at. I want to see that done for 22 million because, like you've just said, you can still get the 22 million in the next window, even though Everton don't always show us the money. But I don't know.
It's all just a little bit disheartening, isn't it?
I don't know if you did you have a look at the midfielders and strikers before? Did you?
We had midfielders on, and then we started doing a little quiz thing.
That put on those banners.
We had a little quiz of who's the player that made us surprised and was better than what we thought. Who's the shit player that was shit? Well, to be fair, honestly, I've got the midfield one I used. I didn't use the other one, the attacking one.
You should have been looking up.
Jamie's a wild.
Yeah.
I've done the midfield.
Oh, he didn't use the attackers ball. Get it up, man. Shit out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it, lad. I ain't done my homework, Paul.
Disgusted.
Teacher skills.
I mean, this is.
You know what's funny about
this? This is off the actual. I know, yeah. Stuff.
Gbamin wasn't featured on any of these. Is he not on the website? Have they just forgotten about him at all?
Who?
Fucking shouldn't be.
Gbamin, he wasn't.
Guma.
I didn't.
Gbamin gone.
I actually didn't put him on.
That's fair enough. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you might as well not. He's a waste of space anyway.
Yeah, you know what? That dude has had the biggest fucking curse on the planet. Signs for us, plays one game,
he is on it.
Ruptures his ACL, comes back, does training with Yerry Mina, ruptures his other ACL. He's just injuries after injuries after injuries.
Do you know what annoys me about Gbamin is that?
What I was going to say about that though is that if you take,
he was a hot prospect.
I was just going to say, if you take out the young lads, because there's 30 players there. If you take out the young lads like Krellin, Astley, John, Onyango, and McAllister, then you're left with 25. You're left with your 25 Premier League players then that you'd have in your squad. So if you do actually get anyone in, then you've got to say to one of these, you can't be in our Premier League squad.
I think
which one would you be?
Onyango.
Which one would you get rid of?
Onyango.
Michael Keane.
I like you say.
So probably stick with the likes of Onyango and anyone who's actually had time with the first team. Anyone who's sort of like on the cusp of it, I'll probably give them a rest.
Like your Astley and those that aren't really in the in the thoughts of Dyche, you take one of those out, wouldn't you?
Tyler Onyango is definitely in Sean Dyche's plans somewhere there because he's quite close with him.
Well, I was probably
say quite close. It's kind of like Tyler's sitting around.
I was going to say
he's like back down here.
Yeah.
I think Paul is having some.
He's having some technical.
I think I was cracking up before, so I didn't get it through. But the fact it's rubbish, innit? Sorry.
Don't worry, Paul. I'll just admire the beauty of you.
5 young lads.
Okay, sounds like Philip Schofield.
I didn't get that either.
No, we're not getting it.
Don't get past the 5 young lads at this rate.
Philip Schofield's eyes are just fucking lit up.
This is about as slow as our transfer window now.
Everton are signing 5 young lads. You hear to hear first.
Does it stop freezing now?
You might have to send him a text privately and let him know it's not working.
He's putting subliminal messages in. Rate that. If you take out the 5 young lads, then we have 25 left. Why were you taking them, Paul?
Back to the cellar.
They're not coming in my cellar.
Some fella in the back and who's interested.
Paul Foster's in the cellar, not the 5 lads.
He is getting his Wi-Fi upgraded, so he's going to be like...
He's
United have signed that. Amrabat on loan from Fiorentina.
Oh, God. Yeah, Amrabat.
There's no gods here. There hasn't been a gods with Everton since 1995. Sorry, guys.
Do you really think we're going to not get no one then?
Yeah.
We've got half an hour.
I'm sure they'll be disappointed.
It looks that way.
I think we can avoid injuries.
Fucking hell. Let's just cry together, man. Let's just cry. I know we can put positives on it. We could go, oh, well, we have got him. And we could say, like, we can't fit the guy we can't fit the players in the squad anyway, but give us a fucking signing on the transfer window. Bloody hell, like... I'm buzzing, by the way, that we have got 2 strikers, and I really do appreciate it. But if Aobi is sold for 22 million and we don't bring someone in, I mean, I watched us in centre of midfield be absolutely shit last game without Garner Gay. James Garner didn't cut it. So if Garner Gay gets injured and James Garner can't cut it in the centre of midfield, we need another centre midfielder for me. Like... We generally that Reed. I said no to Reed, by the way, and I wasn't excited. Go on, you spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby, right round, baby. No, but generally, I didn't like Reed, but some people had a little conversation with me, and they talked me into it, and then I thought, you know what, he might be the jigsaw piece that clicks the box-to-box players that we've got, like Onana and Decore, and he could be quite good. And I'm good. I didn't even want Reed, but now I'm actually gutted we didn't get Reed. Would you have took him, any of you? Paul?
You see, right, this is the problem I have with the Reed thing, was that whether we sign anybody or not, the players we have signed, there is a clear pattern there that Beto on the list since day one, Danjuma on the list since last year. So everybody we've got has been on our list. The Reed one just came out of nowhere. It almost felt like, oh, we're taking him. Would you like to take him? And I think when you start making deals like that, that's when you get into trouble. If he's not on the list that you write up at the start of the summer, you shouldn't take them. That's my view.
So you're saying basically it should be a plan? And just don't sign players for the sake of it.
If he wasn't on the list that they drew up 3 months ago, he shouldn't be on the list today because somebody's told you he's available.
He wouldn't have been on my list.
Exactly. And he wasn't on Kevin Tellwell's list, and he wasn't on Sean Dyche's list. The problem is Fulham have come in today and said, we'll take Aobi, this lad here is available.
Yeah.
There's a reason they want rid of him.
Yeah. He wasn't on my list. I don't particularly rate him. I'll be honest, when his name was blasted about, I had to go look up who it was. I'll be totally honest. Because when you think of a defensive midfielder or a box-to-box midfielder that currently plays for Fulham, you think of João Paulinho, you don't think of Harrison Reed.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. And I watch a lot of football, Dan, you know, with you Sky and all that. I watch a lot of football.
Not as much as me, but yeah, you do watch quite a lot.
Yeah.
It just reminds me a bit of
not as much as me because I'm the.
They used to call me fucking Warrington all the time.
You just go to football boots at JD and check out all the football boots, and I'm the all knowledge man. I know all my football.
Just because you've never won a competition on your own channel.
I thought you were saying because I've never won a trophy. That's because of sport. I ain't had a trophy. I ain't. Have you had a trophy, Lou?
A trophy?
Have you watched Everton lift a trophy? I haven't watched them lift a trophy. I haven't.
Well,
95 FA Cup final, only one in my lifetime.
I was 2 years old when that happened, so
I was 5.
I was shitting my pants back then.
Yeah, I wouldn't even support Everton then. I ain't watched them win a trophy.
You know, the ironic thing is, I've never seen Everton lift a trophy, but I've played for the Everton Inclusion Group, and we've won trophies.
Well, you might as well get them in the team now to get us a trophy.
Whoa. I distinctly remember watching us win the Florida International Cup.
Yeah.
You know, I remember watching that and staying up to watch that.
The Brazilian Joe Kenny scoring a penalty and winking at us.
The cheeky chip.
Brazilian. I can't believe that's funny. One thing. Do you know what though? That is one thing that I can't believe that we did was let Joe Kenny go, because he was worth at least 50 million.
Oh, thanks.
On a free,
maybe 50p, and all the popcorn that remains in this bowl. Just as a hint, there's not a lot.
He was a terrible player.
Are you scared? Obviously, we're going to do a pre-match, but are you scared of Tom Davies?
Yeah. Not really, no.
Beto will bend in.
It's Everton, though, isn't it? Remember, King scored a hat-trick against us.
Beto, this is the thing with Tom Davies now. Now he's at Sheffield United. If he starts, Beto will bend him over and do a like-to-like reenactment of Purple Aki on him.
Yeah, but Tom Davies might trip him up with a skateboard and get him injured, and then we ain't got no Beto, and then we're all crying about his transfer window, and everything's different then.
They've just reported for Bournemouth, Kiefer Moore's not going to Millwall, so Patson Daka's not moving to Bournemouth, and they reckon the Sinistera deal is in the balance and will go right to the wire for Bournemouth. So hopefully they sign fucking no one.
I've got it on now as well. It's just, I like that Blackburn lad. I do. Adam Wharton.
Good, solid surname.
Yeah, I just think, good point actually. I didn't think about that, but generally I liked him. Young centre midfielder, good centre midfielder he is, and I liked him. And everyone says he's good. And I asked Alan Mears, and Alan Mears says he's good. Myers says he's good, and I wanted him. I did. Seamus Coleman.
I tell you what, I can't believe that we've sat here for 3 hours and we haven't signed anybody.
Life of an Evertonian.
I'll send you the. Don't worry, we will get trophies. Go on. You got something?
Ronaldinho.
Have we?
No.
Well, just say we've won a trophy. I'll send trophies in the post for taking part.
Ronaldinho, Jesus Christ! If we were to get him, I don't think there's enough fabric to bloody cover him.
I'd still have him, I would still have him.
Still walk into our number 10 position.
Do you know, speaking of Ronaldinho, and I don't want to cause any trouble here, Dan, because this is your channel, but this morning I was listening to one or two other Everton YouTube channels. I won't name any names, but somebody made an outrageous accusation that Alex Aobi is similar to Ronaldinho.
Name names, please. Name names. Because
come on, give us some names.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you some initials of the YouTube channel.
Get me in trouble. Oh, no, wait. Let me just
got the ball. Hang on.
Before you say, wait, hold on. Let me just get rid of the toffee. I got rid of the toffee blue cast. So
the channel has the initials BBN.
No way.
And the guy more or less said that Aobi has very similar qualities to Ronaldinho, including the way he dribbles. And then he went on this list about how they're so similar. And then at the end of it, he went, now the only real difference between Ronaldinho and Aobi is that Ronaldinho was world class. And started talking about it. Started talking about how Ronaldinho scores goals, how Ronaldinho made assists, how Ronaldinho took free kicks. And by the end of it, I was like, so they're not similar in any way. What?
No, do you know what? I can see the similarity.
Honestly, one is world class and probably one of the most skillful and best players within my lifetime to play abroad and to light up football in itself. And then you've got the other, that's Alex Aobi.
Yeah.
Come on.
Apparently, they dribble the ball similar, which means that they're similar players.
Yeah, but Alex Aobi dribbles the ball and you don't know what he's going to do with it and tricks everyone because you don't know what he's going to do with it. Ronaldinho has got the ball on strings.
It's kind of like when a professional team actually takes on a Sunday League team. Because the Sunday League team is filled with mistakes, you actually kind of take it to their advantage for about 10 minutes. And then the actual decent team will just say, oh, so that's how they're doing it. Sound. Do that. And then 10-0 to the good guys. The good lad.
That's one YouTube channel that's getting the block.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I couldn't really believe what I was listening to be honest. But
a lot do love Alex Aobi, though. Honestly, a lot really do rate him. Like they say, I've seen Everton fans say if he was in a really good team, he'd be one of the best players around, and they generally do believe that.
The funny thing is, he was in the best Everton team of recent times, which was probably the coldest season under Carlo, and he did nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I was going to say, he was a passenger in that team. Name the starting 11 in that team and tell me who he outperformed. He outperformed fucking nobody.
When he wasn't in the team, he was complaining that he wasn't playing in his best position. I mean, he's only stood out because we're so bad. When we were in anyway half decent, he did nothing. Nothing.
His best position in Fulham's fucking starting 11. There you go. Fuck off.
Ah, yes. 22 million in the bank, please. Thank you. I mean, I don't know if there's a player.
And, apparently, he likes to make the towels nice and warm for the players. He's going to warm that bench.
Yeah, I don't think there's a player who divides opinion as much as Aobi. You usually either all hate a player or all love a player. But the split between Aobi is like, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what I've said. I said on Twitter earlier, someone was saying about Aobi going. And I said, with all due respect, I mean, I like the guy. Don't get me wrong, he's a decent character. But since he's signed for us, he's been hit and miss from start to finish. So with him going, we need someone with a bit more consistency coming in. Either being consistently good or consistently better.
Do you know a player that I would have loved to have got in Aobi? Like, if timing was different. Like, say we sold Aobi when this happened, I would love to have got this player that was linked with Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's a cracking player, Morgan Gibbs-White. He's a lot more dangerous. He's feisty. He's grafter. And if he was available, I don't know what player I want in Awobi's position. Now, if you were to say to me, what player do you want to replace Aobi? I generally don't know. There's not much about it, is there? I mean, some people might pick someone else up, but
what is the position?
Always work for Kevin De Bruyne.
But that's the thing. What is Awobi's position? You're talking about a player that we're getting 22 million for in the last 12 months of his contract, who scored the same amount of goals for Everton that Michael Keane has.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We could sit here. We could all name right midfielders, but then he tell us he's number 10. And then he tell us he's centre midfielder.
In all honesty, as a right midfielder, he seems a bit off the boil.
I think he seems off the boil everywhere. I mean,
you can't name his position. He hasn't. If you pick a starting 11 Everton team and you put everybody in a specific position in the game, tell me where Alex Aobi plays week in, week out, the position that he's made his own, that we don't have somebody else that can fill the position that he's playing in. I'm sorry, I don't think it's a great loss myself. You can come at me whoever you want. If we've got any Aobi bummers in the chat and you want to come at me with his stats and go, well, he's been our most creative, blah blah blah, whatever. 6 goals, 156 games. Michael Keane has scored the same amount of goals, and that man plays in attacking positions. I'm sorry, I'm fat, I'm overweight, I've got health problems. I'd score more than 6 goals in 156 appearances. You can fuck off. I'm sorry.
and Jamie does want Alex Aobi to stay and not go for 22 million. And I'm looking for transfers now because it's getting
close.
It's the first time we've done a deadline on Toffee Blue casting. We've got 16 minutes, and then that's about it.
Yeah, you wait 10, 15 minutes after though, because that's when they start getting the information about the deal sheets going through and that, because they usually go at like 10 past. Oh, there's 5 or there's 6 deal sheets that have been submitted to the Premier League, and then they start getting the information through. Because you've got to look at it this way: it's 16 minutes to go at this moment in time. Alex Aobi's still an Everton player. Neil Maupay's still an Everton player. It's not been officially announced. Or we are traditionally bad for announcing any form of information to our fans as it is. But until it's officially announced, they're still Everton players. As much as I do hope that Alex Aobi stays.
It's going to be hard now. And I feel like you're going to have bad eggs as well in the changing room as well. 2 players that don't want to be there. I don't think it's good to have them in the changing rooms. I want committed players.
Keep them out of it. And Sean Dyche has already done that. They've given Demarai Gray's number away. He's not been training. He's not been part of the match squad. If he wants to play, if he wants to be like that to get a move, keep him that way. Fucking leave him.
It makes us look weak as well, doesn't it? When the players are in control of us, like you're offering them a contract and they're saying no. Like back in the day, what a contract, an Everton contract must mean was massive. Like you got to play when Lescott come to us and when Cahill come to us and when all those players come to us in that sort of era, like they love to play for Everton. And now it just seems that we're getting like players that are walking all over us. And I think we need to knock our reputation up. If someone doesn't want to be here, move them on.
That's the right comment to make. But you look at the players that we have brought in, and the difference is you look at the interviews for Beto, you look at Harrison, you look at Young, you look at Danjuma. They want to be here and they want to play for Everton. You still need to, and I said this the first 5 minutes I was on earlier, you've got to look at what Dyche and Selwell are trying to do. They are still trying to ship out absolute shite that we've signed for 6 years. You know, we've got rid of that many players this season. And how many were brought in for, you could probably name 4 or 5 different managers that have signed a number of those players until Dyche has full control of who's in his team and he's not putting round pegs in square holes with players that he's accumulated over shite after shite after shite of transfer windows. We're not going to get the team that he wants us to be, and we need to all get on board with the fact that those that don't want to play for us, so your Demarai Grays or your Alex Aobi, I'm glad to see that we're selling Aobi because it's a change in the aspect of what Everton usually do. If this was 2-3 years ago, we'd have made Aobi stay and play and let him run his contract down and got fuck all for him. The fact that we've bought him, we've had our use of him, and now we're actually getting a return on him, that's the business model that we should stick to. And that's the business model going forward, what we should have.
Yeah, well, the business, like you say, there is some positives that we have made money for players. We got Samuels, I wasn't sure on him, but we've had 2 strikers that are nowhere near our first team. What's it for?
What?
It's not.
You put that, Paul?
Paul's put that on.
What?
Yeah, just a quick one. Yeah, just very quick. Danny, if you're going to try and chat shit in the chat, at least get your grammar right, for crying out loud. It's Youre. You're like, you are a massive idiot.
Who did they say that about?
Oh, they just said you're finished. But they've done the wrong you're.
Oh, my God. Is that actual Everton fan, or they just?
Yeah, this clown.
No, Danny, mate, we'll be finished in a couple of minutes when the transfer window's end. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
He obviously don't know when the deadline finishes because we're finished in 11 minutes. So get it right.
Yeah, and after that, I'll be finishing on your missus's back.
This just took a turn.
Now he's finished.
I'll be coming back.
Eminem's in the building.
Clip that. I want that on Twitter when I finish.
My boy doesn't choke.
That is getting pinned to the top of my Twitter.
Oh, my boy doesn't choke. There you go. That's the reason we've got Luke on, if you was wondering why, by the way.
Let's be fair. We don't get a lot of that in the chat. We don't get a lot of that on this channel. It's not what this channel's about. So if you don't like it, mate, feel free to go watch somebody else. We're just five passionate Evertonians, just talking all things Everton. If you've not got nothing nice to say, mate, don't say nothing at all, and we won't say anything back. So
It'll be some other fan. It'll be some other fan. They ain't got better. We've got better. I'm just happy we got better.
Oh, can we talk about him, please? Because can we talk about him? It's probably because we've been starved of a fit striker for a length of time. Apart from the Ancelotti season, since Lukaku, we've not had a fit striker that we can pin our hopes on. I pray that man plays tomorrow, and I pray he gets a goal on his Premier League debut and gets us 3 points, because I enjoyed his interview afterwards. He was so happy to be there when he got man of the match, and he said, didn't he, I can't guarantee you goals, but I'll guarantee you effort. Well, I put money on that effort that he guarantees us will correlate to goals, because he puts himself about, doesn't he?
I mean, you know what? For Beto, from what I've seen against Doncaster, the dude is an absolute machine. He's massive. He's built like a brick house. He is as fast as a sprinter, and he can bloody leap like a high jumper. He's the perfect footballer.
He's weirdly big, though, isn't he? Like, generally.
For 25 as well. For 25, he's built.
He's put some tonk on, hasn't he, from when he was in that Everton kit? Because he wasn't that big when it shows you him in your kit, Luke. But when you look at him now, he's just massive. I generally can't see anybody handling him in the Premier League.
Honestly, he's like a hybrid between Mike Tyson and a giraffe.
Yeah.
He's got the giraffe neck.
He is just 6'4". He can't be 6'4". He's got to be bigger than 6'4". Because I've seen him myself when I've been doing the drone and everything. I was able to actually get to the Titanic Hotel and saw him coming out, and he is just gigantic and terrifying.
He just his build looks set for the Premier League. Yeah. He's done it in Serie A, where they're a defensive minded league where it's all about keeping the ball out the net, and do you know what I mean? And making it tough for the opposing teams to score goals against you. You've seen it with the Italians in the Euros. Every time they stopped the chance, it was as if they fucking scored. That's the sort of league that he was in. He looks like he's got the physical prowess to play in the Premier League and fucking bully defenders. And I think the way that Dyche is trying to play, and I said it previously when I've come on the channel and we've done analysis, or we've spoke about things in pre-season. When you look a little bit deeper into some of the training videos, we are working at getting it wide. We are working at getting the full-backs forward and crossing balls in the box. You just look at the fucking leap he done against the Doncaster. It just reminded me of the one, you know, where Ronaldo scored that header for Juve, and he jumped and he just fucking kept going and going and going, and then scored that header, and he jumped about fucking 6-7 feet in the air. It just looked unreal. Just looked unreal, and he was so unlucky not to get that in.
I just reading through Twitter now, and I think our channel is not as negative as Twitter is. Everyone's fuming, ain't they?
Yeah.
Ben just said right now, nothing moving, just open something budget somewhere. A few people are just saying absolutely fuming with Cairney and the owners. And
don't get me wrong, I can understand it, and I can totally sympathise with those that are feeling a little bit let down or feeling negative the situation. I 100% understand it, because yes, ideally I would have liked 4 more through the door. Obviously you boys have your own opinions of how many in position wise of what you think we need or we could have, you know, ideally have brought in. But you've got to look at it, if that's the case and that's what we've got, that's what we need to work with, and that's what we need to get behind. We still haven't seen Harrison yet. We've had Beto for 45 minutes against Doncaster. Tomorrow, you're not telling me if we don't put 3 points on the board, it's not going to make people think, well, do you know what? Instead of beating them with the fucking stick that they've given us to, why don't we get behind them? Because we can see what they're trying to do. We can see the potential. We win tomorrow, and I think it'll appease a lot of people's opinions on the situation. Everton, my brother said it completely right there. It's not over until it's over to the fat lady sings. Simple as that.
It's not over till Benitez sings.
Yeah, there you go. Till Penguin Man sings. But generally, we have all just craved a striker this window, and we've got two.
Yeah,
like
we got two. He's a very good little future prospect. Beto's the article now.
Mopay to Brentford.
What's happening?
No.
It's all timing, isn't it?
Is he actually gone?
It's all timing.
No,
it's
but
weird.
Fucking timing on your internet, fucking poor Paul. Still for you, mate.
Timing, isn't it? Because if you
actually, I'm going to go get a pint. I'll be back in a test.
Go on.
I feel so bad for Paul because you can see at so many points he wants to jump in and speak, and his internet's just going.
He was meant to send it like yesterday, so he's waiting on him.
Oh, fucking! He's still a beautiful man, though, isn't he? Whether he's fucking 5 seconds behind or not.
What do you think of his
I was going to say.
Heart in the chat for Paul, guys. Heart in the chat. Oh, don't get me started on his haircut, Dan. I know. You're lucky that I'm on the dinner table, mate, and you'd see a fucking semi here.
Well, we made something of it, to be fair. I was wondering how this is going to go and stuff like that, but generally, we've been a laugh anyway without even frigging signing anyone. Imagine if we would have signed someone, we would have been crazy, wouldn't we?
Right, at the end of the day, there was never a guarantee that we were going to sign anyone. You got to look at it this way. We've all been on for 3 hours almost now. It's not at any stage that we've struggled for a conversation point or we've struggled to talk about Everton. I feel for you. Are you used to doing a pre-match tomorrow before the game?
Yeah, we're going to do it on the day, see how it goes.
I feel for you two because I've not left to fucking talk about.
Well, I tried not to talk about I ain't even spoke about the game tomorrow because obviously I spoke about Beto, and that is literally the only thing to talk about for tomorrow is Beto. But like I say, I'll do a little bit beforehand. But I said earlier on, win the cup game. The cup game was disgusting first half, but I'm not going to lie. When I don't know how you felt, but I've been deprived of a striker that long as proper centre forward since Lukaku that I forgot what it felt like to have one. And we've always put young kids in there or Mopes or Rondons that are just the has-beens. Rondon, not fast. No one that's got that all-round game. And when Calvert-Lewin's there, we're like, yes. But generally, when we put Beto up top, I felt like he's better than Calvert-Lewin. And to have a striker now, I just felt relieved to get that feeling back of having a striker. I was just like, oh my days, we can actually, it feels like we've not been able to play football all these years. And now we've got the jigsaw missing piece up top, especially with Sean Dyche's tactics, to just bring everything together. And I honestly do believe, and I tell you this now, I would put £1 million on it. If Beto played against Fulham, he would have beat Fulham. If Beto played against Aston Villa, because they didn't have Mings, I feel they would have struggled with him as well. Aston Villa are very good, by the way, but that would have been we would have been a lot better against Aston Villa with Beto. And if he played against Wolves, I can't see Wolves handling him either. So we could have been sitting winning all 3 games now and saying we're going to frigging win the league. We've won all 3 games just by having a striker. So the difference, I'm just happy Beto come on at half time. And he was what I wanted him to be because I said he would be good hoping, but he might not have been. But I know people are saying it's only Doncaster, but just watching him run, watching him hold the ball up, and that finish was just that was composure, wasn't it? For a
I tweeted after the game, right? I would love to see Everton play beautiful football week in, week out. You look at the champions of our country over the last couple of years. They don't play beautiful football and they don't dominate every single game. There's certain games that they play where they grind out results. It's nitty gritty, it's horrible football, but they find a way to win. I would much rather see Everton play absolute shite the first 45 minutes of every game for the rest of the season, and then for the second half we go and win a game. It's the best quote I've ever heard about winning, apart from Vince Lombardi's speeches, is "I've been off at the Fast and the Furious," the first one. Vin Diesel sums it up in one sentence, mate. Winning is winning. Doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. Doesn't matter how we play, as long as we win. That's all I care about is Everton winning. That's it. Don't give a shit how we play.
The news is all starting to come true now. All the signs.
Is it? Put it on loud. If anyone's got it, put it on loud. Put it on loud.
The Palace signed Rob Holding from Arsenal.
Yeah. I'm going to put a few in the comments, and you can post them up on the screen. But the transfer window has officially closed.
Unless deal sheets have gone in.
It's been 3 months, hasn't it? It has been.
So,
We've got lots going on tonight still. Our panel are here all the way through.
Can you hear that?
Even though they're back in the studio for 12 hours now.
Which one do you reckon's best? Which signing's best, do you reckon? Not necessarily us, but anybody.
the entire window.
Oh,
I think if he stays fit, the Brighton fatty.
Yeah.
If he stays fit, I think that Barcelona play is quite good, but he is injury prone. So, but I think Brighton are out what they are already.
On loan for the season.
Getafe.
Spain.
Wow.
Fucking hell.
Now we're going to see all the players that we could have had that was available that we didn't even go for.
No, he says that after Mason Greenwood. What the hell, Dan? 50 moments.
No, he can't. So, yes,
Oh,
he's ready.
cheers, mate.
A little nap, but he's back.
Cheers.
Go on, Mike. I'm ready.
Cheers. 20 frigging metre bottle.
Yeah, Brendan Johnson's gone to Spurs.
From Nottingham.
What happened to Tanyanga?
He's gone on loan to Alfred.
Midnight kiss. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Come here, Paul.
I want to understand my heart. I love you, Grealish.
Was that any good, Rob? Was that
I've
shit?
just got the entirety of Ireland.
Was that shit, Rob?
Come on, Paul. Just rest them on me.
You tell me. Does it sound? Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I don't think it was the best impression, was it?
Yeah. Made me sound like a leprechaun. For fuck's sake.
Oh, shit, we actually have an eye.
The lad outside the Space training ground, they got a technical problem. So fucking they went live to him, and it was like Paul's internet. It just fucked up on him. He's waited all day to announce the deal, and they've had to cut him off. Comedy. But yeah, Brendan Johnson to Spurs is a big concern.
That's a good signing for Spurs, by the way. I think that's a cracking signing when you said what's a good signing.
Yeah.
Brennan Johnson with Son and Richarlison. I think Spurs with Maddison, feeding them two each side.
I wish we'd have gone in for a sneaky little loan offer or a buy offer for the Pigeon. Bring him home. I said that earlier.
If only.
It doesn't seem to be working out for him at Spurs, and I can see if it carries on, I can see him next year moving. He's not got Keane there now, so he should ideally be their main man, but it just doesn't seem to come off for him, does it? Doesn't look the player we have.
See the tweet now. We are gambling. We are gambling massively. 2 injuries and we're buggered.
To be honest, though, when we look at the transfer window as a whole, we've brought in Ashley Young, Danjuma, Chimiti, Jack Harrison, and Beto. We've done decent, in all fairness.
Yeah, to be fair, if you was when we thought after that Gordon window of 40 million and getting no one, if you was to offer me at the start of the window, Beto, Shimichi, Harrison, and Danjuma, I would have snapped your hands off. I really would have, and Young as a backup left back. For what we've spent, if you would have said, because there's no guarantee that Harrison would have wanted to have come to us. He probably could have gone to someone doing better. Danjuma, I didn't think would have wanted to have come to us. I think we've got a cracking player in him. And like I say, Beto, we've finally got a good centre forward. And Shimichi obviously is a bit of a project, but at least he's got a bit of bit more about him to play a centre forward than Mope for me. So yeah, I would snap your hands off on what we've got. I'm just gutted that we didn't sneak it. If we haven't used that loan, like we said, because I think a centre back. If Tarkowski gets injured and you've got to pay Braithwaite and Keane, we're not going to be happy. I remember when you used to look at your team sheet and you had Jagielka, Lescott, Baines, Coleman, and then you had Arteta. I think it was McCarthy. Then it was Osman, Moreles, Pienaar, and then you was happy. Every single player you had on that team sheet under Moyes, you was happy with all 11 players. Do you feel like that now? I don't feel like that now. Do you? Do you feel happy with the team sheet when you see all 11? Because I used to under Moyes.
No, absolutely not.
Dendoncker.
Ben Donker. We've got Dendoncker. Have we got Dendoncker really, or is he joking?
I was joking. Don't forget, free agents are still available. Obviously, I don't know who's available, but potentially we could. Like I said, I'd take Kasper Schmeichel.
You know what? That's actually a good point. That because he's just released his contract from Nice, hasn't he?
Yeah. I'd genuinely take. Burnley have signed Mike Trezor from Genk on loan, whoever the fuck that is. But yeah, no, someone like that would be an outstanding number 2 and potentially push Pickford on.
Aobi's not gone then, has he? Let's just get this right. Aobi's not gone, has he?
Technically.
Bear in mind, though, there's like a slip that they actually put in. And as long as that slip gets put in before 11 p.m., it's called the deal.
2-hour extension.
You get 2 to 3 hour extension.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's just stuck on the M25.
Interesting. Let's see if anything else gone through last minute. Damari Gray, we're all presuming he's going to be whether the Saudi team wants him or he's going to stay.
Yeah, I think it'll be Saudi or nothing, mate, for him.
He also said to me earlier that he has got to get a squad. He's a floating squad.
I'll just wait until everything's lapped up and then we'll finish the stream. I'm just waiting for all the confirmation. I said I'd have Holding. I tweeted I'll have Holding.
4 million. That's a good deal. That's a Rob.
Yeah, I said I'd have him, and then everyone started jumping on it, saying he's worse than Michael Keane. I said he's nowhere near worse than Michael Keane.
Okay, so Alan Myers has just tweeted, Damari Gray will be staying at Everton despite an offer from a Saudi Arabian club.
Ooh.
But what's the thing is, so what's he expecting to get out of it? Because in all fairness, for some reason, Dice doesn't want to play him at all. And anytime he has played, the only thing I ever see from him is he slips. And I don't mean that in like a sense of, oh, he loses possession here. There, he literally is flying over the turf and slipping. That's a lot of people out. Nkuku, Mina, Townsend, Begovic, Version Price, Davies, Sims, Warrington Mills, Holgate, Cody, Gabaman. We've lost Gabaman, have we?
No, not yet.
Cannon, Aobi to be considered, Malpai to be confirmed, and Gray to be confirmed.
There's a good one here. I like this. So Aobi, 22 million plus add-ons. The add-ons are 1 million for every goal, 1 million for every assist. Everton expect to make 0 and nothing.
You made me think it was true
though. No one knows though. It would be that 1 million for every goal, 1 million for every assist. Everton owe them 1 million. How?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, own goal.
Everyone tweeting about Greenwood.
Again.
Do you know what? It'll just become a no name now, mate. He'll leave United at the end of the season, go to somewhere like Getafe, mate, and you'll never hear him again.
Yeah.
You will.
The fact that they only.
Do you think that Gomez has got a? Obviously, Sean Dyche played him probably once, hasn't he? Do you think he's got a chance under Sean Dyche? Do you think Gomez could be a player?
Potentially. I mean, at the moment he is bench filling, but if needs happen, he could potentially come back in, and that'll be his opportunity to prove his worth. I mean, thing is though, what was he originally? Was he number 8? Like a box-to-box sort of player?
He's supposed to be Neves, isn't it? Not is it Neves? He's supposed to literally be him, isn't he? But he's not as good.
You know, if it wasn't for the injury, I think he'd still be a mainstay with us. He'd be one of the first names on the sheet.
Yeah, that messed him up. That
badly.
And he was good with Garnagay that derby, where it was Gomez and it was literally just Gomez and Garnagay in the middle, and they absolutely dominated it that derby. I think it was the one where Pickford knocked it in the back of his net, where we actually was the better team.
Yeah,
Richarlison should have scored, and
it was against
Liverpool one.
Oh, that one, the Origi.
Remember, where Pickford knocked it back as at Origi, and it was Gomez and Garnagay in the middle, and they was actually good together. Neil Mopo deal done as he is set to join.
Donker.
I tell you what, somebody just made a good point on Twitter. What in the world are we going to do when AFCON starts and we lose Ghana and Decore? Who's going to play in midfield?
James Garner's got to step it up then, hasn't he? You'd like to think Dele Alli is going to be back as well, wouldn't you?
We just have to make sure that Decore and Garner get a slight injury and they're out for a week when that happens.
I wouldn't mind seeing... I've always said it, but I don't know what you think. I wouldn't mind seeing Ben Godfrey playing their number 6 sometimes with those driving runs that he's got. I don't know how... I like Ben Godfrey when he's running with the ball and driving. I feel he's got his speed and he can run and just drive the ball up the pitch. But he can't drive up the pitch with the ball from a centre-back. He used to do it as a left-back, didn't he? He used to bomb it forward, but I don't know how we're going to utilise Godfrey. I don't know. Is he finished?
Just checking Twitter for one last thing. So
we'll bat ended now anyway. Just go on, tell us what's happened, and then.
Yeah, Demarai Gray is definitely staying. I mean, it doesn't. I know the person in the comments there keeps saying Den Donker, but there's nothing.
I read something on him, but
apparently we were waiting on a deal with Den Donker, and if we would have got him, Andre Gomez went to Lille. That's according to sources.
The Aobi deal sheet is done. It was sent in before the deadline, so that should be announced soon. Aobi done.
Same with Malpai, apparently.
Yeah, it looks like both the deal sheets went in, so probably be announced overnight. Yeah.
Must be a handful of deal sheets gone through then.
There normally is, to be honest. Normally they end up sending like an email of about 10 to 20 of them near the end, just so they can get that extra couple of hours.
Yeah, because they've done Forest about 5 minutes ago and said that they reckon they've got 3 potential new signings over the line. So that could be 3 deal sheets just from them alone.
Yeah. Just imagine if we went to bed now, woke up tomorrow morning.
You can do with Everton, can't you?
It wouldn't surprise me if the reason why Aobis took so long, because that was done and dusted this morning. He went down for a medical this morning. That should have been announced 6, 7 o'clock. I've just got this weird feeling. I don't know why. I'm probably wrong, but the reason why it's dragged on is because potentially we might have something, or we might have something. You never know, do you?
Hopefully something comes in and then he goes.
So apparently on Twitter right now, the person in the comments is telling the truth. Everton did go for Den Donker from Aston Villa on loan.
Good night, Paul.
Good night, Paul.
See you in my dreams.
I think he struggled with his sickness tonight.
Yeah, so Lille tried to bring Andre Gomez back. Everton were waiting to validate the arrival of Den Donker from Aston Villa.
We tried to sign him before.
We tried to sign him last year when he left Wolves.
Yeah.
And Gerrard actually stole him. Gerrard took him to Villa.
I would have actually took him there. What do you think on that one? I would have had him. He's a decent passer of the ball.
Right. If I wake up tomorrow and a deal sheet's gone in for Den Donker, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I'll drink for that.
But it doesn't look like it happened. It looked like it was dependent on Andre Gomez leaving.
Apparently, Sinisterra's deal sheets in for Bournemouth.
That's mad. Then Donko
Go
came
on,
out
all
of
through.
Out of absolute.
Sorry, I want everyone around us, any deal sheets they put in to fucking fail.
Yeah, everyone flop. If they can't get it good, if we're not going to get it good. Like I said, I spoke to someone on the phone, and I do think that our squad's thin and stuff like that, but we've got to realise that we are on the line with FFP and stuff like that, and I think we've just got to go with what we've got.
For them, because apparently we've been on the line with it for 4 years now.
Well, with the stadium as well, isn't it? Yeah, but with the stadium as well, I just think that we're going to have to go through a tight patch now, and then it's going to get better.
No, the thing is, though, the stadium's got nothing to do with FFP. That stadium that's going to get built is under a different name altogether. It's under Everton Holdings Group rather than Everton Football Club.
Nothing to do with FFP.
No, so that's
but he's not. I don't think Sean Dyche sees Michael Keane as a problem. I generally, where we're saying we need a centre-back, I think he thinks he's got 3 good centre-backs, Branthwaite, Keane and Tarkowski. I think he thinks he's got 3 good ones. I don't think he's worried. He's got Godfrey as well.
Just
what you got?
So fucking
deal sheet on Sky Sports website. The deal sheets are in for Alex Aobi to Fulham, the lad whose name we can't pronounce, the Forest, and Lewis Sinisterra to Bournemouth. So Aobi's gone.
Well, we are Mopay on Sky Sports. Hold on.
Leaving Everton on loan, but did Brentford leave it too late?
Please tell me they didn't leave it too late.
Can give us the answer.
Come on, Avuma. Give me some good news, girl. Neil Mopay's gone to Brentford. Confirmed.
There you go. We get to celebrate players going.
All I can say is how dare them wear Yeremy in a shirt.
There you go. So we've managed to. We've not announced any players, but we have announced that we've got 22 million for Aobi. Neil Mopay has also gone, which is good because you don't want. Sometimes he just gets on the pitch when you don't want to see him. So we're only going to see Beto and Shimichi and Calvert-Lewin now with Dan Juma as an option.
I get all that. I'm just surprised that we've allowed, if we allow Aobi to go as well, and we've allowed Mopay to go, there's 2 potential starters or 2 potential to come off the bench. Not even bringing in 1 more just to cover that. Even just to have on the bench who's going to be an impact player. It's silly. It's silly. Because don't get me wrong, yes, Mopay scored 1 goal for us. Fair enough. Against Doncaster, actually playing up with a full striker. There he goes. With an actual striker to play off. He looked half decent. Again, I know it was Doncaster, but he looked half decent. So potentially that's a trick we're missing without bringing anybody in.
It is stupid. I hope the money's still there for the next transfer window. If they ain't spent it this window, I hope that they're just saying that a lot of players are going to come back. We'll grind out this start out because the window soon comes round, doesn't it?
Mm.
The thing is, as well, the Brentford deal for Mopay, it was including an option to buy as well. The only thing I'm worried about is they've needed to bring a striker in because of Tony's ban. So when we play Brentford, if Tony's still banned, Mopay won't be able to play anyway because he's on loan. That's the only benefit of taking that.
Yeah,
I was going to say we should have put it in the fucking contract when you play Everton and Tony's out. Neil Mopay has to start up front.
You've got to hope that he does play. I want Mopay to go abroad and play well. You've got to hope that he does play well now because you need to get your 15 million back.
Yeah, but it depends because that'll already be agreed. The buy fee or whatever will already be set and already agreed. I wonder how much that's for because surely you'd think between 8 and 10 million is what you would if you were negotiating that and say, look, we bought him for 15, we've had him for a season, 8 to 10. Potentially, your option to buy him at the end. Surely you wouldn't go lower than that. Surely.
No,
Then again, it's
decent amount.
It's okay. I'd take a Mars bar and a packet of fucking Monster Munch now.
Well, it's true what you said. If you do, it's like with Aobi. We've had him that time. We've got a use out of him with 22 million. I'm happy with. If you've got Mopé for 15 million and you took a chance because there was no strikers about and you're selling for 10 million, happy days. Move on. Spend the 10 million. I mean, I'm happy that I can't believe that we've sold Sims for 7 million. I can't believe we've sold. Did Cannon go? Did the Cannon thing happen?
It's not been confirmed yet.
It's here, with the deal sheet went through, so they expect Aobi and Cannon to be confirmed. They have until 1 a.m.
7.5 million for Tom Cannon. Then.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. That's good business, man.
Got 15 million for Sims and Cannon. 15 million. You would have liked to have thought we could have got a striker with that. I'm just hoping that the money is going to get spent next winter because you've got 15 million there for frigging Sims and Cannon. You've also got like 22 million for Aobi.
7.5 million for Cannon. So
we've accumulated that this summer. We've accumulated like something like when you include like the Moise Keane money. I know obviously it all ties together, but there's something like 60 million, and we've spent something like 5-6 million or whatever. So the offset of that money, you'd think there's money there.
Oh, man, Richarlison back. So it's true.
Yeah, tell me about it. I
think he's happy there. I love Richarlison and I miss him, and he's one of my favourites. But I think he's happy at Spurs, isn't he?
He'd have been perfect on the right hand side of our attack, though, wouldn't he?
I think he'd fit better into this team, and I don't think. Go on.
Let's do like this. I can probably do an impression of Richarlison's time at Spurs. This is what he looks like when he smiles.
Yeah, he doesn't look happy there, mate. He never
looks happy, regardless. To be honed.
Yeah, lads, breaking news. John Philippe Gbamin has been terminated. His contract has been terminated.
Wanker.
Do we have to pay? Does that mean that we had to pay him, or does that generally? Yeah,
probably like $1 million payouts.
Mutual, yeah. So we will have given him 20%.
If it's mutual, yeah, we wouldn't have paid his full contract up. He would have had to subsidise certain things to have it mutually terminated.
Big wage. I think his wage was decent.
Apparently, he's done it for a week's worth of physiotherapy and a £250 worth of cheese.
I am happy with that.
He's had more than a fucking physiotherapy out of us.
Guys, do you know what they call a £250 with cheese in France?
No, go on.
Fucking Neil Mopé.
A Royale with cheese.
Really?
Pulp Fiction, baby. Pulp Fiction.
Amazing facts, my Luke.
Pulp Fiction hurts me.
Amazing facts.
It's a great film. Well, I
think what I'm going to do then, I'm just going to finish now and we'll wrap it up. We'll finish it with last words. I think that's everything now, isn't it?
I think that's it, really.
Yeah. Do you know what? Boss for coming on, actually, because it was 3 hours of thingy, but generally it is what it is, isn't it? Hopefully with next window we do. It's just we've got some money in the kitty and we get to see it next window. I'm just happy that we've got a striker, but at the end of the day, I would like to have seen players come in. What's your last words, Rob? What are you thinking? Get on with it.
Yeah, look, I'm not too upset about anybody we lost. Would have liked 1 or 2 more bodies, but I didn't want us buying players just for the sake of it either. So look, it is what it is. We move on. We beat Sheffield United tomorrow, and all will seem a little bit better.
Agree with you, Jamie. Go on. You've been positive tonight, Jamie. I'm proud of you. You know.
Yeah, well, mate, you've got to be in this situation. Mine would be nice and simple. Support back the team. Fuck the regime. Came right out the cunt. Up the fucking toffees.
Good lyrics. Good lyrics. And Luke, I bet you've got some nice words to finish the show.
Oh, of course. Let's thank everyone for tuning in. It's been a really good time being on here. As people have said, we haven't really lost too much when it comes to the players going out. I'm happy with the guys who've come in. So, you know what? Let's give Sheffield absolute hell. It's been a decent window, contrary to what people have been saying. And hopefully Everton's season starts getting an upturn, because next window I'll probably be seeing as me jumping out of this one if things don't get better.
We'll join you.
Top heights of gobshites. Come on, you Blues.
Top heights of gobshites.
Every fucking one of them.
Toffees. We've got Portuguese Haaland, and we're going to frigging win the league, even though we lost the first 3 games. Up the fucking top is everyone. Thanks for coming on. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everyone. Can only get better. Can only get better. Up the fucking toppies, baby. We are the Evertonians.
Toppies.